Hey, what's up, everybody? I am here with PC Audi. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. PC98 Audi Bob.
PC98 Audi. Sorry.
T 10 seconds in, and you're already screwing up.
Yeah, a friend of mine was just talking about PC98, and I'm like, I think I know somebody that might be able to help us with this.
I'm made by PC98.
Yeah, yep. So, I wanted to have Audi here to go through some 3DO games because I've been kind of always fascinated about these failed consoles. I did the podcast with John Linneman about it. I just did the podcast, or the live stream with Yahel about the CDI. And I'm always kind of wondering if there are games that are good enough to justify buying and modding and using these old consoles. And the only real experience I had with the 3DO as a kid was going into FYE at the Trumbull Mall, Bridgeport people will know what I'm talking about, and seeing this on display. Road Rash on the 3DO, almost called it the CDI. See, I'm getting poisoned by them. And it looked amazing. Even though it was 480i, at the time we only had CRTs, so I probably wouldn't have noticed the flicker until I got home. But even in 480i...
That would have looked sharp.
Yeah.
Would have looked good on CRT, so...
This, luckily, is in 240p because I'm using Dan's amazing RGB mod that also takes care of the resolution.
Oh, okay. So, also in Japan, right, that some of the consoles have the Switch.
Yes. I was wondering what the reasoning for that was. Why only Japan, and why include it at all?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm actually not really sure about that. I do know quite a few 3DO lovers in Japan, so I could ask one of them, but I didn't do that research for this live stream, unfortunately.
It's okay. I didn't even re-listen to John and I's podcast before this, but I do have the list available, which is good enough. So, and I feel like I did the podcast, so it's not like I skimped on the effort from that side.
That's right, yeah. Well, 3DO is all about having fun, right? So don't need to research fun. We know what that is.
No, 3DO
it's not the CDI.
3DO is all about rubbing it in your friends' faces that your parents bought you this super expensive console with 3 games on it. So let's see if we can change that common perception of this console with this live stream.
I think if you had this, though, you would be laughing as you told them you had it and how expensive it was, and then they would be laughing at you when they asked you what games you have, because you would only be having Crash and Burn for a while, and then that's it.
Speaking of Crash and Burn, we just hit the dirt.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, the 3DO unfortunately was kind of troubled out the gate, we should say, and that was due to a lot of the ideas that they had regarding just the philosophy of the console, because the console was was by Trip Hawkins, who I think people are aware of.
Yeah.
I hope. A pioneering video game publisher at the Electronic Arts, and this was his idea and his brainchild to kind of deal with all the things that he was not happy with the console providers. Primarily the manufacturing of cartridges and the licensing, which he was not a fan of, and he had successfully kind of, let's say, strong-armed Sega into being lax about it, but Nintendo not so much. So the 3DO was kind of the answer to all these issues by having the software and the hardware licensed out to other manufacturers. And I think the idea that they had was basically that, like, enough manufacturers were going to make their own 3DOs, so the price would then be, you go down because there would be competition in the market from the manufacturers themselves. But I think only like Panasonic and Gold Star were the ones who picked it up for the most part. So
yeah, that no subsidized hardware cost. That's why you're not getting a $299 or a $199 console. It's,
No. I like the idea, though. I mean, it's pretty forward-thinking for, 91, 92? So, and it did actually sort of work eventually, then especially in Asia, where 3DO had a very different life than it did in the US. So, yeah, I always loved the 3DO. I never had one as a kid, but I always wanted one because I saw it in EGM. Always saw those previews, and always wanted one, especially for this game. but I never got to play this game until it came out on PlayStation.
I remember playing the Genesis version and really liking it, and I think that's why.
Yeah, but those were different
yes.
though, a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what kind of drew me to this one, was seeing the Genesis version. And the other thing too, only recently, meaning after starting RetroRGB, have I actually owned one of these. But I really think the controller is comfortable, and I know I'm in the minority by saying that, but to the point where I'll almost want to play this version of Road Rash over the PS1s, almost, because the controller feels really nice. Whereas the PS1 version obviously has the 60 frames per second, so that's that's probably the better version overall, or the best version overall.
Is it 60? I thought it was 30.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is 30, or maybe this is 20 and that's 30. But I thought that this one, I thought at the very least the PlayStation one had a higher frame rate.
It does have higher and more consistent, but I'm not sure if it's 60.
So maybe it's 30. And
I'm
this
sure.
is 20.
Sure, John Limon is screaming at the screen as we're talking about this. But,
especially because we talked
he
about
would
that
know the
too,
answer.
I think. But
yeah,
I'm always pressuring him to do a Road Rash video because I really want to see his opinion on which one's the best and why.
we did a kind of Road Rash video on DF Retro, but that was because of the RGB mod for 3DO, pretty much like this. So we played Road Rash, and then we talked about some of the sequels in that video. So you can go to Digital Foundry and see a taste of it.
Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Are you going to play Plumbers Don't Wear Ties? Probably not. Probably not. I would like to showcase the good games from the perspective of, is this a console worth buying? And let me tell you, when I walked away from that CDI stream, I really genuinely appreciated Thunder in Paradise, and I heard that...
That's a great game. You should have appreciated it just because of what it is.
True, but it's
actually the hit show starring Hulk Hogan.
But it's not just that. It actually was a fun game to play, and especially
it's one of the better
too of FMV games.
Yeah. No, Thunder in Paradise is like the video quality is amazing. The actual like FMV shooter concept works. Especially if you have, do you have the Peacekeeper?
I do, but it kind of stunk. I thought the mouse was way better.
Oh, you like the mouse better? Okay. So, but yeah, Thunder in Paradise is awesome. I wrote about that in my book, and it was really fun to kind of get to talk to some of the people who made that game.
Oh yeah.
And the craziest thing about Thunder in Paradise was that the show producers were adamant that, because the episode that's on Thunder in Paradise on CDI, this is already turned into a CDI stream, by the way. The Thunder in Paradise thing, it's the actual finale to season 1. And can you believe it? There's only one season of Thunder in Paradise. But... they were adamant that the CDI game / interactive movie was the only way you could see season 1's finale. So everyone who was a fan of the show, all 10 of us, would have to buy CDI to watch that episode.
I actually didn't know that.
And somehow that didn't work out. So the episode was on TV before the game released, which kind of took a bit of the wind out of the game, I would think. If they hadn't done that, maybe the game would have been, a success.
Well, on the other side of that too is, though, it's not like it is today where everybody knew the exact info of what's going on. You could have very easily missed the episode and not been able to just DVR it,
Yeah, I mean, you could set your VHS recorder to tape it.
I used to, but how many people actually did?
I used to tape Thunder in Paradise every week because I was at school while it aired here. So... I somewhere have the tape still. I do have the German DVDs of the entire Thunder in Paradise series, which are all dubbed.
Oh, no.
Which kind of makes it even more interesting. But, yeah, I'm sure we'll play Thunder in Paradise again someday. All 3 of us. So...
Yeah, but unfortunately, there was not another game that I thought was worth playing on the CDI. Sorry for the sirens in the background.
There are a few. Stop lying. There is Apprentice, which is great. It's great for the CDI. I do think that the Zelda side scrollers have some merit. I don't think they're
I'd
great.
much rather
I
play
don't
the
think they're
HD
really
versions
good.
that were just released.
Absolutely, by Dupli. You should be playing those because those actually make the games good. And what else is good on the CDI? I have so many. See, this
Andy
is what
Long,
happens
thank
when
you
you
very
think
much
about the
for the,
good games for CDI. It makes you like use your brain because it will take a while.
Oh, we got a couple of super chats, Audie. Would you mind checking them out while I fight my way through the end of this
Sure.
level and badly lose?
Yes, I will read your super chat. So you already read the one with Plumber, Don't Worry,
Yes.
Kai. Andy Lon from Norway. Road Rash 2 slaps. Want to get that Red Book audio mod, John? Let me know about. Yeah, someone made like a metal soundtrack out of Road Rash 2, which will be compatible or is compatible with the MSU Plus or whatever they call it now, MD Plus.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it was really good. I actually talked to the guy who did that. He's a very good musician, so you should check that out. I'll see if I can find a link while we play this and post it. But yes, that mod makes it great. And Modern Vintage Gamer, great to see you
What's
here.
up, Demetrius?
Bob, please play Audie's favorite port, Another World at 3DO. Yes, I actually think we are going to play that later.
Yep.
And it's not my favorite port, and I will tell you all why when we play it. But thank you, Modern Vintage Gamer. Now, I see he sent you $20 there, Bob, so
thank you very much, Demetrius.
you can eat another day. Yeah, so that's the super chat so far, but please keep sending them in, and I will try to read them in my best English. But speaking of Road Rash music, because this game, I think most people would associate these Road Rashes with the soundtrack, right? Because it had like Soundgarden, it had like all these other like what do you call them, grunge music?
Yes.
90s sad people music, and that was kind of one of the drawing. In this game, I think it's only the menus, but on PlayStation, is it in the actual game? There's some differences.
Yes, and definitely Sega CD, I believe, as well.
Yeah, and Sega CD's version is interesting because that's like a mix of like a Genesis games and this one. But when this came out, I was one of the few that was very upset about this, because the Genesis, at least the first one, I think parts of the second, is composed by a man called Rob Hubbard, who is a famous C64 composer here in Europe. So I was a huge fan of Rob, and anytime any people would like change his music or anything, I wouldn't support those games. So I was very upset that this new Road Rash did not have a soundtrack by him.
Okay, so what are we doing for our next game then? Because
done with Road Rash?
yeah, because
All
that
right.
was just the opener. I feel like I always talk about Road Rash on the 3DO, so I had to open with it. But I feel like there's a ton more stuff that we could be playing that people haven't seen. So what do you think is the next thing we should get into?
I sent you a list yesterday. You have all those games,
I believe I do, yes.
All right. Do you remember? Because I already forgot. I'm sorry.
You're gonna have to look that up in the.
I have a terrible memory working all weekend. Let's see. Let's go down the list here.
We also do have what might be a working light gun, so we'll try that in a bit as well. But we'll kind of see how that goes.
Well, while you scroll down, what are you using? Like, explain this to me.
So this.
Because I haven't actually seen like.
Well,
stuff.
I'll play Street Fighter while we decide, just because I'm not very good at it and I won't last long anyway. But what? Hold on, where are we? Super. Oh, that's right. It's Super Street Fighter 2.
Right there.
ISO. So this is the optical drive emulator by Manimo, however you say it, and it basically just replaces the optical drive with a USB port. And the optical drive did work on this 3DO, and I saved it, of course. And now you could swap this out. There is some soldering involved. It's a lot harder than it looks, so I had Jose do it for me. And this also has the RGB mod from Dan, which is links to where you could purchase yours, as well as the video and all that should be in the description. Actually, I never double checked. Let me make sure I said that. Yeah, okay. Everything is in the description as well. So, yeah, so we have access to pretty much everything. And if there is some hidden gem that we absolutely have to see that's not on here, I could probably throw it on midstream if we needed to.
All right. Also, what are you drinking today, my friend? I see it's a dark beverage.
Guinness in a Guinness glass.
Oh, it's Guinness. Okay.
At first, I was like, I'm just gonna have water, and I'm like, I think I'd rather just have beer.
I see Chris Fratt sent another super chat saying it's Mist on the 3DO. Mist is on everything.
Is it any good? On
Mist?
the 3DO, not. I know Mist is good.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, the variation in Mist would basically just be what resolution? I don't know. I'm not a big Mist guy, so I'm not the guy to ask. Maybe it's probably better than the Jaguar CD version.
I'm going to turn the music up in the game just a little bit. For now, I'll turn it back down, but everybody always tells me how much they love the soundtrack to this game.
They should, because, I mean, so this, I would honestly say on the Western side of things, in the US, this was probably the killer app for 3DO for a long time, right? A good conversion of Super Street Fighter 2 to Turbo, and that soundtrack, which is actually ported from the FM Towns soundtrack.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, it was first released in Japan, and then they ported it over to this.
I gotta say, I'm liking the 3DO controller a heck of a lot less playing Street Fighter.
It's not the greatest, but there were third-party controllers. I have one, a 6-button controller for 3DO, which is pretty good for Street Fighter. So, because this was the game, I mean, I'm a huge Street Fighter nut, so... In fact, Modern Vintage Gamer recently did a Street Fighter Alpha 2 video, which I got to help out on. So, since he was here earlier, I'll give him a shout out for that, because that was a lot of fun. But this is a really good conversion of this game. It's not arcade perfect, but damn is it close, especially for the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. At the year that this was released, there was absolutely no other Street Fighter port that came close to the arcade like this one did.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, again, yes, people can come in and be the actually guy and say like, hey, if you had like the X68 in Japan, you would have arcade perfect. But even in Japan, that was not the common household item. Most of those were like dev units or rentals and things like that. So this was one of the ways to own a super version of this game. Quite literally, super version of this game. So
very cool. All right, have you figured out what game we should do after this? Because I guarantee you I'm going to lose in about 10 seconds.
Let's do Phoenix 3.
Okay.
Just because I remember that on the top of my head right now. I'm pretty sure you'll have it. Just seeing if I missed some super chats. Not so far. Nope. Is Blanca your character, or did you just pick Blanca?
Blanca used to be because of the electrocution thing. When in doubt, you just sit there electrifying.
Yeah.
But I've tried to branch out. But the only downside of having friends that are amazing at games is that if you suck at a game, it's really hard to find your character and stick with it because you're going to lose no matter what character you play.
Right. Yeah, it's really sad for the 3DO because, again, we talked about the bit stumbling out the gate, right? And games like this was on the horizon, but they didn't really feature this as much internally at the 3DO, whereas like Jurassic Park Interactive got all the money. So they really... I know why. I can see why, because Jurassic Park was everything and everywhere, and this was like officially, from the studio was going to help out and shit. But it's such a terrible game. You should play Jurassic Park Interactive.
What was the name of the game again? I've already drew a blank. I'm sorry.
Oh, Phoenix 3.
Phoenix 3. Okay.
All right, so Macho Nacho Productions says, of all the 3DO console variants, how does the Gold Star version compare to the Panasonic and Sanyo offerings? Which variant do you all prefer? Thanks, and always keep up the amazing work. Cheers.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really. The Sanyos I'm not too familiar with. Which model do I have? Two models. I certainly have the FZ1. But I guess... at this point now, you should get this mod basically that you have to make the Ultimate console.
Yeah, so
So
the gold stars can't play CDRs, so that might be important to you. And the front-loading ones look cool. That's like the iconic look of the 3DO, in my opinion.
yeah.
But the top loaders are generally a little bit more reliable for discs. However, the reason I chose the FC10 was because it's compatible with the ODE, and it's easily compatible. The one with the chip inside is this correct chip inside is compatible with the RGB mod. There's only one chip that isn't. So yeah, and Macho Nacho just had another video out. I got halfway through writing up a post on it and then didn't get a chance to finish, but absolutely recommend it. Anybody who's interested in handheld stuff, his channel is amazing for that, but specifically this one has a video about the biggest LCD screens on a Game Boy Color. So that post will be live by tonight, but his video is already up, so just definitely check out Tito's channel.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out after we're done here.
I
Then.
want to try to get him a lag testing kit and a stack of these Game Gear LCD mods and have him just go at it and see if, see what his opinion is on these. All right, so everything's set as you could expect, right? Save to game on, normal. Yeah. I don't even know what this game is. So.
Well, it's the future, because we have FMV sequences in it. Now, are you nostalgic for this stuff like me, or do you just, like, not care about cutscenes regardless?
Sort of. Quick shout out to Jimmy Hoppa, who just swung by to say hello before he goes out. He wants us to beat Dr. Hauser in 20 minutes for him.
In 20 minutes, that's going to happen. Just because that game runs at 1 frame per second, so it's going to take us 20 minutes to just start the game. But, hey, Jimmy.
So, I have respect for stuff that was amazing in its time. Like, I hate to keep using it as an example, but it is the perfect example. Like, you could sit down and play Thunder in Paradise and see how cheesy it is and see how that opening, in the boat shoot sequence stinks. And you could still enjoy the game and appreciate it. Whereas games like Double Switch just don't hold up at all. So the nostalgia factor is enough to get me through somebody's YouTube video talking about it, but not enough to actually spend hours and hours and hours playing them.
Got to do something. Remember where you are. Show some self-control.
I don't know. I appreciate like the physical sets, the costumes, all this stuff, which it took effort. I mean, it's cheesy, as you say. It's campy. But kind of like this guy. He's acting. He's at least trying to. The main character, though, I don't think you could call that acting, but he's at least in the shot. He exists.
Maybe not, but even if I don't come back, old man, at least I won't die.
64 Disk Drive King says Gold Stars can play CDRs, but it's hard on the crappy laser. The European models have some sort of copy protection. Well, the one I have definitely couldn't. I tried adjusting the CD, but I could have gotten one of the European models.
You don't think I'll come back before you go?
No, I never tried to run a CDR on a 3DO, so...
Let me guess.
Chris said he's going to play the VR version of Myst. I could see a remake of that being incredible, but I don't know how those early 90s graphics are going to look in VR.
Isn't there a remake coming out of Myst?
I thought so.
I think they've talked about that. I'm sure that's going to be VR. So, as I said, I'm not into Myst much. I know that my dear Vivi is very much into Myst. When she grew up, her dad made her play Myst as a proof that she has grown up. So it was kind of like a test. So
okay.
So here we go. We have
a
pre-rendered graphics. No, we expect this to be a good game, but it does have pre-rendered graphics, as you say. It's kind of like a Contra-esque for the 3DO. I think it also has some climbing mechanics, kind of like Prince of Persia. So you should be able to... Yep, exactly. Blood and guts.
Interesting. Okay, I'll turn the volume down a little bit. I don't know if it's too high here, but... Now it's too low. Darn it.
Someone's asking if this is a port of wrestling with gaming to the 3DS. It kind of looks like, yeah, hell, right.
Oh, it might as well be. Oh.
See, I really have nostalgia for this. Like, just kind of, pre-rendered graphics. Like, this looks like a DOS game to me. It looks like Alien Carnage or something. I think they also have grenades, by the way. I think you can throw grenades with one of your buttons.
Yeah, the C button throws grenades. I haven't been very good at implementing them and how I do this.
I see. And you can do the duck walk. So this game is kind of like Zelda on CDI.
Wait. Alright, hold on. I gotta turn up the volume real quick. You all have to hear what this sounds like. Oh, 1 sec. Oh, now it's not gonna do it. Well, if anybody heard the fart sound, the next time that happens. Alright, let's hope for it on here.
You sure that wasn't you, Bob? Are you trying to like blame the 3DO for your own farts?
Listen.
Alright.
Did you hear that?
I don't know what that is.
Somebody in the chat had to have heard that as well.
Alright, so let's see. Rob Norfolk. Hi guys, enjoying the stream for recommendations as I only own one 3DO game. Quick question, do you think a good condition Sony PVM 2130 QM is worth buying for £500?
That's such a hard question to answer because for a couple of reasons. One, I used to get these monitors for practically nothing, but at the same time, they're skyrocketing in price. So if it's worth it to you, yes. The only thing is, if at all possible, I always recommend seeing it in person first. Like, I'm looking at mine, and as I scroll, like, it's kind of doing this a little bit, but the screen is bright. The brightness is only at halfway. Everything's crystal clear. There's no scratches on it. If you shine a light through the back, you can see that there's no, like, wads of hair, in the back of it. It's in good condition, so I paid $1,000 for this one, and it was worth every penny. This is also a 20L5 that does 480p and 720p as well, so it's really up to you, but, as long as you understand what you're possibly getting, then you should be happy with it.
I think we've seen enough of this game, man.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you were going to say that. Alright. Where do we go next?
Alright, well, let's do... I'm not sure if MVG is still here, but let's do Out of This World.
Tony Hayden said, I really want a 20L5. It's amazing, but you could pick up a really nice VGA monitor and a regular PVM for less money and really accomplish everything that you need. I need it for... There's a long list of RetroRGB.com related reasons that I actually need one of these. Not to mention the fact that it's one multi-format monitor with every input, so I could use this one for everything and not have to try to jam 100 more monitors into my apartment.
So, how familiar are you with this game in general? Whoa.
Not at all. What?
So you didn't play it on like Genesis or something's going? The game is running too fast. I'm actually not.
That's the switch in back. That's the 480p or 480i 240p switch. Let me.
Okay.
Can I reach it here? Or do I need? Yes. There we go. I'm using a RetroTink 2X SCART for this one, so you get Bob deinterlacing. I didn't want to experiment with any of the newer ones I had, so let's try this again. Sorry for the...
Yeah, it's still running slightly too fast, but it's a little bit more manageable now. Or no, maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
normal.
Some scenes seems fit. Yeah, so you never played this on Genesis or SNES, nothing, right?
No, it's the sequel to that other game though, right?
No, it's not a sequel. I mean, this is it does have a sequel, but let's not talk about that. But this was, for me, this came out in like 91, 92 on the Amiga. And I grew up in Europe, for those who are watching and never seen me before. So I grew up in Europe, and this game, when it came out, was like revolutionary. Because, first of all, the art style, which we'll get into with this version of the game. But also just, in general, the minimalism that was used in this game was incredible as well. Just immersed you into a world, and then, you had to figure everything out yourself through trial and error.
Yeah.
So this,
I do remember this game, and I hated it because I could never get past 2 scenes into it. So walk me through this.
I see.
So
so first of all, you have to duck and kick these leeches.
Kick them. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You got too close.
Yeah.
So you just have to kick them. You can duck and kick further, so you don't have to like go too close to them. So that's what you're gonna do for the first few screens, are just kicking leeches. So you can see why this game was so influential on me. But and when this came out, man, I was completely floored by it. I couldn't believe how amazing it was and how thrilling and imaginative it was. So this was actually a game that made me want to make video games for myself, and kind of influenced my entire career in life. This game alone. So this game has been always very important to me, and I've talked about it, and I've talked to the creator once in my life and did a huge article on it back when I was writing for websites. So yeah, now we have to run the other direction quickly. Yeah. See, it's all trial and error.
When Phoenix 79 wants to know where in Europe you grew up, we actually did an entire podcast together where we talked about Audi's very storied history. But you want to give the short version, a teaser for that podcast, if you will?
Yeah, it's on your channel. You can search up Piece 98 Audi on Bob's channel, and you find our interview, which I think was like 2 hours, right? Yeah. I can't believe you pushed that much out of me. But no, I grew up in Norway. I grew up a couple of hours outside of Oslo, and born in the 80s. So this came at a perfect time. See, you're already kicking the leeches like you're...
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to give this one more try, and then I think we should move on.
Yeah, well, the reason why I hate this version of the game, though, is that this game has a very storied history with its porting, because it was ported to every console imaginable back then. It was like Genesis, Super SNES, Atari ST, all these things. And for all of those ports, Interplay was the publisher wanted to change things, which the creator of the game refused to. His name is Eric Chahi. He wanted it to be, as it is, no fiddling around. And by the time this version came out, he had moved on to a new game, which is Heart of Darkness. And because he had moved on, he told Interplay that they can do whatever they want with the 3DO version, which is why this version has new backgrounds, new music, and other things. But as you can see, the backgrounds to me are over-detailed. They don't fit in with the actual sprites at all. Or they'll actually... Oh, you have to jump on that rope.
I thought I did.
Apparently not.
Does it ever get better than this?
Oh, it's already amazing. See, now, because you did that now, the rope won't be there if you do the other sections. Now you have to
yeah,
die.
I just wanted to practice that before I did it. So, all right, one more try. One more try before I'm too useless at this.
But yeah, so, I mean, this version basically is what Interplay wanted the game to be, which is everything it shouldn't be. So the music is inappropriate, the graphics, or the background graphics, are inappropriate. And so this one I see as the worst version of the game. I think some people still love it, though, out there, and prefer this one because they grew up with it, and that's fine. But
out of curiosity, which do you think is the best version?
So today would be the 20th anniversary edition on like Steam and PS4 and whatnot, because that's Chahi's own update to the game, and it runs, of course, in HD and everything. So that's the one to get today. But back in the day, it was the Amiga version, for sure. Now we have to run the other direction, by the way.
Thank you.
And just keep running. So I see people mentioning that they wanted to provide something special for 3DO, but again, they had been trying to do this for every version. I think my article on this game is gone. It used to be on Hardcore Gaming 101. But back then, when I talked to the creator of the game, he really was not happy with this version either. So, and this game sets up the sequel, which is on Sega CD, which is Heart of the Alien, which was not made by him either, and it's a terrible game. Really terrible.
Well, you know, there's always an open invite. You're always welcome to post anything that you want on RetroRGB, and it would always be very appreciated and never deleted. So.
Oh, I'll bring back all my old stuff because of my resurgence. People keep asking about these articles. Chris Ratz says, "What do you think of the enhanced graphics of the modern 20th anniversary edition of Another World?" So I already answered that, but I think that's the version to get now, because you can also play with the old Amiga graphics in that. You can go back, play retro, or play the HD update, which is still the same art. Oh, you have to pick up that gun. See that blinking light there?
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, the 20th anniversary is fantastic. So.
Okay. Out of curiosity, I want to try to play it sped up in 240p. Let's see how that.
Go ahead. Kind of be like a Benny Hill sketch at this point. As someone mentioned earlier, by the way, that the console ports were done by Burger Becky, which is true, yes. Rebecca Heinemann did those, and she did an amazing job.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was interesting. Next.
You kids can't appreciate the classics. Let's see. What should be next? I'm trying to recall my list that I sent you.
It's right up in the chat history.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Hauser?
Stop. Yeah, let's do Dr. Hauser.
Okay. This is the English translation one.
Yeah.
And
came
I will
out
put a
a while
link
ago.
to this in the chat, but I think I downloaded a pre-patched version, which is why you got that weird screen that just popped up. But I'll link to the romhacking.net version where you could just patch your own ISO and not have to worry about anything going wrong with it. Push P button.
Get that chat. Yeah, the Dr. Hauser game. This is very interesting because this is like it's only released in Japan by River Hill Soft, as you can see on screen. And they went on to do other games, Overblood on PlayStation, some other games. And it's fairly interesting, let's say. It's kind of their take on, what's that called? Alone in the Dark?
Okay. It's funny, we Digital Foundry's here and said this game is good, but Dr. Hauser is where it's at right before we switched over to it. So I didn't even notice till afterwards, but you read our mind here. So
I hope that's John, because I don't think Rich would ever say that. So, but yeah, Dr. Hauser. Yeah, this is interesting for all the right and wrong reasons. I mean, the frame rate, as you'll see, is that is totally John there, because he says "kill like the blood," which I absolutely detest. Is better than Overblood. So, kill like the blood, man. That is,
wait,
sucks.
This is not English.
Oh, the opening sequence would not be translated.
Oh, okay. Do we skip it or keep watching?
It is John. So John Lindman, ladies and gentlemen, famed celebrity of the gaming community in the chat. Yeah, so look at this. This is a cutscene, but it still runs at 1 frame per second, basically.
This reminds me of running like King's Quest on my Tandy 1000, just with slightly better graphics.
Yeah, so this game, I mean, it's near unplayable. And I've tried several times to actually beat it. I have the actual game disc, and I've had it for years. But it gets even worse than this as other actions come on screen. Andy Lon says, I got a Norwegian, or the same one as earlier. I forget.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I'd love to see Quarantine. Yeah, that's a cool game as well. I know John has the big box of Quarantine,
All right.
which is a pretty interesting box.
So we have to switch between bad games and good games then. And I know I'm not going to like everything you like and vice versa. So I would consider the last game a good game, but not the best version. And, you know, it probably requires a lot more patience than can be given in a live stream setup. So if we want, we'll do Quarantine next. Is that a good one, though, or is that just, like, ridiculous?
It's ridiculous. It's not ridiculously good.
Okay.
But it has a lot of cool ideas, which again I think is sort of the cool thing of 3DO. The fact that
fuck this game, I'm out.
all right,
That's enough of the doctor.
that's all you needed.
The doctor just went home. You can cure yourself. All right.
You should know. But no, I think 3DO was so interesting because it allowed a lot of these smaller companies to bring out their ideas. And then you get things like Quarantine and Virtuoso.
So not Quarantine Attack, just Quarantine. Oh no, that's Quarterback Attack. I don't know. Maybe my vision's getting blurred. Yeah, that was Quarterback Attack.
Which
Sorry.
Also, it's Back Attack.
Oh, I'm losing you.
Quarantine Attack.
Hold on, man. I'm losing you.
Yes.
Ooh.
I guess that's a game you could make today. Quarantine Attack. Oh, are you losing me?
Yeah, your video just disappeared, and it's.
I should still be
up.
here.
Let me I gotta move you to the top to even get you here.
I'll try to turn it back on.
No. Sorry, everybody. I know
weird.
this isn't the most professional way to run a stream, but it's I'd rather have him here than not. So.
It's weird.
Now you're rotated or something? I'm going to delete you and re-add you and hope that cures it.
Once to quarantine, we fiddle with this.
All right, you're back-ish. Let's once again, sorry everybody. This is just kind of what happens.
You can watch me drink in slow motion.
No, you just disappeared again. That's very weird. All right, one more try.
I don't know why.
All right, you're there-ish. I think we got you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, as I said, I see myself just fine and don't have any other connection issues.
All right, well, you're now running at the same frame rate of Dr. Hauser, but it's better to have you at one frame per second than not have you at all, so.
I switched to my CDI setup.
So at least whoever was watching was being entertained by whatever this ridiculous intro is.
Oh yeah, you can't skip that intro.
Was that a low-rent Brad Pitt?
Yes. That's why he's filed under the ads. So someone say, was Chris said, "Hey, John, Audi and Bob just want to say your content brought me so much joy lately in these times of lockdown." Well, that's very nice. I'm very happy that we can entertain you.
All right, let's get to the game.
All right. Chemo City. So only my camera is acting up. My sound is still good.
In and out, but it's better than nothing.
Oh, I wonder why.
I'm trying to even figure out what the controls are.
Oh, there's none. You just did basically. It's just craziness, but
so be a
it is an open world, slightly open world racing game. Yes.
All right.
You can do a drive-by shooting.
So what is C? Okay, this is strange as heck. So
Reverse.
A is go forward, A is gas. And then the up button is jump. Yeah, it's jump. Back is reverse. And B is shoot. Why are we just shooting people? I don't...
Yeah, you can shoot out the windows. You can shoot to...
And left trigger selects
Yeah,
weapons,
nice.
ejection seat, nitro. And the right trigger rotates view from the windows to the rear to the front, which is horrible when you're actually in the driver's seat. And I guess if you press back while you're moving forward, it's like brake. Oh! This game is so bad. Have you played this one before? Oh, wait, we lost Audie. Are you still here?
I should still be here.
You are still here in spirit, but you're not here in video.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this is acting up suddenly, but
Tension 2002 wanted me to raise my mic. Please let me know if this is better or not. Because if this keeps... Oh, well, you're sort of back. So there's a chance I might be finishing this by myself if the connection keeps killing.
yeah, I'm really sorry about that, but I'm not sure what's going on.
Not your
so
fault, my friend.
Hopefully...
Not your fault. Alright, so was there actually a point to this game?
Yeah, you drive and shoot.
Aren't you supposed to pick people up or something?
I think there is some kind of angle like that to it, yes, but I'm not really... Let's see. John would know, because he plays this game quite often. It's one of his favorite games.
I have a sense that you might be sarcastic.
Oh, no. He has this in the big box, as I said. He loves this game.
I just ran somebody over?
Yeah. Well, is he mooning you? No, he's trying to be picked up. Okay, so... Yeah, now we picked him up, I guess. There you go.
Okay, A is...
See,
yes.
John confirmed that this is his favorite game.
Let's go. If you could kill anyone along the way, that'd be really nifty. I'm a little weird.
It would be nifty. It would be nifty, wouldn't it? It's kind of like picking up tacos at Taco Bell. It's just nifty while you're out driving.
What a weird game. Oh, I just hit the trigger figuring it was going to do something, but it always just switches the angle, of course.
Yeah. Of course. This was released on PC and then placed on PlayStation was released in Japan only, I believe,
Audie, if you can hear how you sound right now,
if I
it's
remember
so fitting
correctly.
for this game. Alright, I just want to do one drop off so I could feel like I did something in this game other than just randomly run over people.
I can't hear myself, so...
Okay. Yeah. So should we try?
What I can do is I can try to reboot and see if that helps.
You know, why don't you do that and I'll start out with Mad Dog McCree, because we all know what this is like, but I also want to see if the gun even works. There was a whole thing about that earlier, so you could reboot and I'll get this thing going. Rise of the Robots, huh? We'll do that one right after Mad Dog, but...
Sure.
Audie's connection is about as good as a present-day 3DO laser. Alright, Mad Dog McCree. So, the one thing I have to do... Let me get my beer out of the way so I don't knock anything down. I was hoping that you could plug it into the second controller port, because if anybody doesn't know, the 3DO controller is where the second player plugs into. So it's kind of an interesting thought in that there's one, you know, they all have really long cables, and that way you can go from this to the console, and then the second player to this. I was hoping that the light gun would plug into that, but I don't believe it does. So I have to do a very quick switcheroo here. All right. I think I made it. Here we go. I'll turn the audio up a little bit because there is a quote-unquote story. And there's a button on the side that I'm assuming might be start. Not working again? I just fixed this thing this morning.
It's in the air. It's an ill wind that blows no good. Mad Dog McCree and his band of cops
Well.
riding into town. Folks here plumb scared to death.
Owen Phoenix said the frame is not aligned. Yeah, unfortunately, the overlays that I use for this, they were designed by somebody who was nice enough to make them for me for when I wanted to do side-by-side shots in my videos, and I repurposed it as an overlay for live streaming. And unfortunately, as you can see, I didn't do the greatest job of that. So I have to, there's always going to be something cut off. The first couple live streams I did were with games that didn't fill the full screen anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. All right, so let's try this one more time. Let's try to do the old switcheroo. Cross your fingers. I enjoy light gun games, but they have to actually work. It's funny, I really did plug this in before after my buddy Dave took his apart and took pictures, and we figured out what was where my connections were missing. And when I tried it just to see if I could even do it... Oh, hold on. We have Audie back.
I'm back.
Alright, you are back.
Okay, hopefully it's better this time.
My gun's not working, so that's it was working before.
Oh. It worked until I joined?
No, it worked before the stream started.
It's an ill wind that blows no good.
Well,
Mad Dog McCree
I guess we're not playing Mad Dog.
riding into town. Folks here
That really stinks.
Are you a fan of Mad Dog McCree?
No, but I am a fan of light gun games, so I wanted to at least give it a chance.
Yeah, I recently bought that Mad Dog McCree collection on Wii.
All right then. What was John
So
saying?
what did I miss while I was rebooting?
Nothing. More technical difficulties.
Oh,
Rise of the Robots is what John wanted. All right.
why? Oh, John, of course.
All right.
By the way, your it looks like your overlay is a slightly off. It's cutting off the
that's
left
what
side.
O1 Phoenix meant. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Hold on. Transform, edit. There we go. Okay. I wish you could lock those.
I know, right?
You probably can, and I just don't know it. I gotta catch up on my...
Are we really playing Rise of the Robots? God damn it.
You can blame John.
Fuck. Fuck you, John. Fuck you.
It's his second favorite game, second only to that racing game.
Yes. Actually, this is certifiably Richard Ledbetter's favorite game. He did admit this on the latest DF Weekly. You can go there to confirm. But this game is awful. I hate this game for everything. When I was a kid too, I hated it when it was in all the magazines. And I don't like Brian May. And they said that Brian May was going to be in the soundtrack. And I think they used one of his B-sides of something. And I knew this game was going to be crap based on all the previews because it was always about the graphics. And then it came out and it was crap. And then it came out on the CDI, which is even more amazing.
Which is better, Rise of the Robots or Toki?
Who asked that
What do you
question?
think?
Man, so I guess fundamentally and technically Toki can be played, which makes it better. But I hate Toki so much that I would actually be playing Rise of the Robots on the CDI before I would ever play Toki on any console.
I don't even remember this. Oh, yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually played
You
this.
don't remember Rise of the Robots? I think about this every day.
This looks really bad.
No, I mean, it looks good. That's the thing. Like, this looks fine. I mean, for the time, it had all these beautiful models and, you know, sorta smooth animation. It repeats too much, but it can't be played. You can spam like a fly kick, and you should be winning every round if you just jump and kick.
Yeah.
Or unless that was the Mega Drive version, I forget. Bubsy or Plumber don't wear ties. Bubsy? All day, every day? But when we're not going to be playing Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Yeah.
But I can tell you a story about it. So, when I was writing my book over the many years, there was a connection with Plumber Don't Wear Ties, because the lady in that is a wrestler. It's Hollywood from Glow back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah?
Glorious Women of Wrestling. And
Gorgeous
Glorious
Ladies of
of Wrestling. Gorgeous. I always miss that because of in my head translation. But yeah, it's Hollywood. And I was curious because I was going to include it in the chapter about wrestlers in regular video games. And so I called her up and talked to her about Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Oh, yeah?
And she was a very nice lady. At the time, I think still, she was producing erotic wrestling videos for customers. So she was asking constantly if I was interested in buying one of those, and I had to decline. But I did pay her for the interview. But I didn't use it. So somewhere I have an interview with Hollywood regarding Plumbers Don't Wear Ties that has never been published. Maybe on RetroRGB.
You're always welcome, my friend, even the weird stuff. And in fact, there's an argument to be made that the weird stuff might actually be the most entertaining to read because it's so bizarre.
Yeah, that would be a video, but still. Hotel. Why do people keep asking or? Is this like what's it called? FMK, the video game edition. Let's see.
So I don't understand the point of this game.
Which game was this? I actually missed
Armageddon.
it.
This was one of your suggestions. I went back and just.
Yes, yes. So this is very interesting for me, which means it's not interesting for anyone else. But so Armageddon, this is a Korean game, and this was a tie-in to a movie or an animation movie from Sang Il-sim, who was a Korean director. And he's kind of infamous for several reasons. One was that he was the animation director of Ninja Turtles 87, the cartoon. And then later on, he would do a Street Fighter unofficial cartoon that was only released in Korea. And then this, which was one of the kind of bigger releases for 3DO in Korea. And 3DO in Korea was pretty successful to a certain extent. And this was kind of one of those reasons. But Armageddon was like this terrible animation. And for us in Europe, we actually got it via Manga Entertainment, which was this label that released anime films on VHS. They actually released Armageddon dubbed only in Europe. So I saw this as a kid, and then I found out there was a video game based on it many, many years later. And it's this video game. And it's not good.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I gotta say. I'm really happy that I get to experience this. This is I appreciate it, but no. Now you wanted me to play a Sailor Moon game too?
Yeah, why not? Sailor Moon S. It will start with a B.
Yeah, Bishojo?
Bijojo. Yeah.
ISO.
Pretty girl.
I'm also going to pull up the list that I made with John of games to play on this as well, because
those would be good games.
You're not
that's not as funny.
You're not really helping with the argument for why people might want to actually use the 3DO.
No, but this game is actually good. Trust me.
All right, I have my post up now. In fact, I'll put this in the chat for anybody that's just interested in this. There you go.
So you're familiar with you're familiar with Sailor Moon?
Not really. I had a friend, maybe an acquaintance is a better way to put it, that was super into this when we were in high school, and I just never got it. So I don't even know what Sailor Moon is other than a female Japanese anime character.
Didn't you tell me like privately that you cosplayed as Sailor Venus?
If I knew what Sailor Venus was, I might make a joke about it, but no clue. Jimmy had me play a Sailor Moon fighting game on the Super Nintendo, I believe.
So there's several super chats.
Oh, okay.
Bartman3010. I'll toss up super chat for Sailor Moon. How does this game compare to the Super Famicom Fighter? This one is pretty good. We'll talk about that a little bit. There was a Sailor Moon S on Super Famicom. The Super Famicom game is better. Just throwing that out there right now. But this game is pretty interesting for several reasons. But it's not a terrible fighter. It's not the best on the system. That would be Street Fighter. But it has the voice cast from the anime. It has pretty cool cell animations for the frames. They look a little bit janky overall, but they're still there. And the controls are fine. If you know how to play it, it's just straight up fine. And the good music as well.
I gotta say, it's at the very least much better than Rise of the Robots. In fact, if I had played this first, I probably would have had a lot of bad things to say about it, but compared to that other one, this is at least fun.
Oh yeah, Rise of the Robots makes everything better, in hindsight. So, no, this is a fine game. And it's one of those kind of interesting, unknown games. I think most people know of it today. But I do remember I think this was featured in GamePro or something like that back in the day. I remember seeing it, and again, it was just... I dreamt of having a 3DO for these games, because the fact that they had like 2D fighters combined with FMV sequences and CD music and whatnot, that was such a dream circa 1993, right? So this really excited me, and then I finally played it many years later, and I actually liked this. So I like the Sailor Moon Fighters quite a bit. So this isn't bad. What is kind of weird about it is that there is another fighting game on 3DO called Shadow, which is one of the worst games ever made. But that runs on the same engine as this, and I'm not sure why. I never found out how these two games were connected. So my guess is that the 3DO company had this out for licensing, because there is another game that uses it that's unconnected to these two. So I think this is something internally at 3DO company where it's like, if you want to make a 3D game, we have the framework for making them that we can license you. So I see EV Chill 2. Hey Bob, Buzzby the Bobcat. I think he means Bubsy the Bobcat. Bubsy the Bobcat made Audi the man he is. What game made you the man you are? You guys are awesome. Take care.
Thank you very, very much. And I got to probably say Super Metroid, because while I absolutely loved the original Zelda and A Link to the Past, I still think is not only one of my favorite games, but one of the best games ever. And for some reason, there was just something about Super Metroid. I think it was just that sense of like, you are totally alone on an alien planet. You know, there's no like, go visit the shopkeeper for upgrades. Like, it's just you and aliens, and that's it. And I always thought that was just such an interesting concept.
You just described Out of This World basically as well.
It's just, you know, you could do things like shoot and run and have weapons and upgrades and fun.
Which you can do in Out of This World as well.
Alright, Immercenary. That's one of John's.
Yeah, you can play that too. Of course it is. Someone is asking if it was Lost Eden on the 3DO. That was on the CDI at the very least, and I'm a huge fan of Lost Eden because that soundtrack is amazing. Okay, Immercenary. But yeah, I mean, Super Metroid. I'm not a big Metroid guy, but over the years of going to GDQ, I have a lot of respect for it, because people who speedrun Metroid are amazing people. Audi, which Sailor Guardian is your favorite? Sailor Venus. The one that Bob usually dresses up as when I ask him.
Fair.
Look at this. Look at this specimen on screen.
Could you imagine being an actress trying to make your break and somebody explains to you that this is what you're basically a half-naked reject from Dune for a game on the 3DO that no one's ever going to know about?
You're entertaining the masses.
Ooh, I didn't hit that button, but it automatically did. Maybe this is one of these games that glitches with the 240p switch, but we'll find out.
Maybe. But this game, not a fan. Let's see. Someone says that they're torn between Mercury and Jupiter. I'm guessing you're talking about... I'm not a huge Sailor Moon guy. I don't want people to like start sending me like fanfics of Sailor Moon. I'm not going to read them. But I did watch it on TV when I was a kid. And I've liked the video games quite a bit. There's the fighting games, and then there was the RPG Another Story on Super Famicom, which is quite good. And then stuff like that. But yeah, not a huge Sailor Moon fan. So yeah, so just look at this. It kind of reminds me of Quarantine, but on foot.
It is a very odd control.
You can kind of literally see the steps he takes.
Yeah, I see where they were going with trying to like make it more realistic, but in actuality, it's just making it weirder.
Just look at the enemy design. Just like 3 triangles and a circle.
This feels like something I would find on the Atari Jaguar.
Yeah, just it runs way too smooth for the Jaguar. I like the Jaguar. Escape from Monster Manor. Yeah, that was a cool 3DO game as well. That was one of the launch games. Or close to launch. I mean, Crash and Burn was the launch game. But Escape from Monster Manor, the programmer for that game, Escape from Monster Manor, is on YouTube. And what's his name again?
I'm out of weapons already?
Equab, something like that. But he has a developer log for Escape from Monster Manor where he talks about the creation of the 3DO and the creation of that game. So if you're interested in that, check it out.
All right, you seem to have some disdain for this game, so I'm not. I normally would try to like, all right, let's let's give it a fair chance or something. But if you don't like it and I'm bored with it already, I feel like we should just go on. What about Starfighter?
Let's just move on. All right, let's do Starfighter.
Is that an okay game?
Who's It's all right. It's just so middling. I can't. There's some people that are really into this.
I could. Owen Phoenix 79 wants to know what Myst looks like. I know Chris was talking about that before. Maybe we should fire that up.
It will
next.
look like Myst.
Yeah.
It will just look like Myst, people. Like, there's so little variation in Myst. Just stop bringing it up.
Maybe
we've had enough Myst.
Maybe we'll close with it just because that'll be our ending. Is here's what Myst looks like.
Oh, it'll certainly put us to sleep. Evehack, yeah, that's the guy. Go to his channel, check out his 3DO long plays. He talks a lot about the creation of the 3DO and the games that he worked on, and Jurassic Park Interactive, which was your play after this. So I mean, we're not gonna be able to play this. This has some interesting stuff though, this game, because you can like change the environments. Like when you shoot or drop bombs on the grass, for example, it starts burning and it will change the landscape. So there's some interesting tech going on here. I remember John playing this and showing me some stuff, but it's just still a boring game. Let's see if there's anything.
You know,
we already played Street Fighter 2.
I'm going to make a comment, and I have a feeling there's a good chance I'm wrong. So please feel free to verbally bitch slap me across the internet here. But I'm really starting to feel like a lot of these 32-bit games were trying so hard to accomplish something that they weren't ready for yet.
That would definitely probably be true for the 3DO. They were thinking quite big based on the promise of the console, I think, as well as just... I mean, yeah, see there? It has like this, it changes the ground there. So
yeah, you're right about that. All right.
And then I was going to say, you can actually also go up into space, and then it will change. So it doesn't change anything.
I mean, just to be clear here, I'm not just a picky old man that only wants to play the same 4 games I've always played. Anybody that's been on any of these other streams has seen me get absolutely sucked into new games that I've never played before that aren't necessarily the pinnacle of video games. Like I really loved, I think it was Final Fight for the NES or something. Jimmy had me try. I played that for like
Mighty Final Fight.
Yeah, I played that for like 15 minutes. It was just a really fun game.
Well, you would have known that's a good game, Bob, if you watched our Final Fight episode on DF Retro.
I did watch your Final Fight episode.
Yeah, that's right. You actually featured it on your channel.
Maybe I didn't remember that because I just usually blow off NES games because I the 16-bit and then 64-bit and past era are my favorites. So I don't know. All right, Jurassic Park Interactive. I feel like I need to grab another Guinness for this.
Oh, I would get the liquor. Right. Just go straight for...
You actually have a question directed towards you.
Bob, I really enjoyed the interview of Audi. Audi, were you the site owner of Akumu's NSF archive? So, thank you for collecting all this NSF in that one place. Yes, that was me. Many, many years ago, I did that. So, I think we talked about this a little bit in the interview, but... Basically, back then, the video game music scene was very split between groups and factions, and the way people did those NSFs were always different, whether or not they had sound effects, whether or not they didn't, or listing the composers, all this stuff, and it really annoyed me, so I tried to clean it up as much as I could, tag it properly, and then I made that NSF archive. I'm very surprised you actually know about that, because this goes back to 2004, 2005. So, but no, I had a lot of fun doing the NSF archive, maintaining it, and I kind of lost interest in that because there was a guy named Ugitab who used to help ripping those, and he passed away. So, and I was very sad when that happened because I didn't know him very well, but we spoke very often because of that. And then when he passed, I kind of lost interest of keeping it up. I just kind of lost motivation. So that's why. So, are you familiar with Jurassic Park Interactive?
No.
Are you familiar with Jurassic
The
Park?
game, yes.
Not the movie?
I mean, sorry, the movie, not the game. Sorry, I was...
Oh. I mean...
John seems to
all
think
right.
this is the best game on the 3DO, so we should...
I think John's credibility has just been, like, plummeted into the
No, I'm
ground
kidding.
during
He
this
said
stream.
it's truly one of the most vile games ever created.
Yes, okay, thank God. Because this is one of the worst games of all time. Quite literally. And I should know. I collect them.
Understand. How do I play?
Yes. Oh, you have to go to... click the man.
I don't know what I just did.
I don't know either, but you broke it. Oh, I think you did it. Okay, so this is a collection of different minigames? Oh, you picked the best one. You picked the escape room one. So you have to run around. Be sure not to be caught by the raptor. So there's tons of different minigames here. Most of them are actually based on... Whoa! Run a while. Most of them are based on old arcade games like Asteroids and Garaga and all these ones. But... open the door.
How?
I don't know. Push a button.
I'm pushing all the buttons.
Come on, Bob. We're gonna die.
I'm pushing all the buttons.
You just push all of them together. I don't know. Well, maybe that's not where you're supposed to go. Oh, Bernie got you.
This is terrible.
Well, we're not done. We have to try the other minigames.
Okay.
Yeah, so this, I mean, this was really one of the reasons why the 3DO actually failed. And that's not an overstatement. I mean, it's just hyperbole. It's just kind of, this game when it came out was so hyped. And they had spent so much money on this. And then it was a piece of shit. The worst piece of shit.
But how do you actually start the game?
You have to click the different icons. There are different places on the
Alright, main shed
island.
one,
Which...
and then...
Displaying video.
Yeah, then it starts playing the video, and then it will go into the game. You will also notice it's not the original actors from the film.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get their likenesses.
Yeah, Ash, love the fact that was supposed to be Dennis Nedry. They just picked a random fat guy and put glasses on him.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
Put some glasses on. I'm just joking.
No.
Yeah, this is a shooter game. It's riveting, isn't it?
This is so bad.
Mm-hmm. That's why you're playing it. It's the best that 3DO has to offer.
But there's no indication that they're even getting hit other than the HUD bar.
Yeah, that's it.
Congratulations,
You just have
you
to
have
shoot
made
them.
it.
Oh. Okay. Let's continue.
Dr. Ian. Oh, come on.
Look at him.
That is not Jeff Goldblum.
I think it is. I think you just need to look closer.
Jeff Goldblum. That's right. That's way more accurate. Thank you, Mario.
So Jeremy says we're playing the worst games. No. I mean, we've been playing lots of good games. It's just that you tuned
Jeremy,
in when
do
we
you
played the
have
worst.
a recommendation for a good game? Because I'm all ears. I'm waiting for one. Because there's nothing... Maybe my rip of the game is broken, but like... Or maybe I could only play certain dinosaur pens or something like that.
You just have to click it more than once.
I tried, and I just end up smashing a bunch of buttons until it loads.
Oh, that's how it works then.
Maybe we should go back to playing Road Rash.
No. We played enough good games.
Oh, we just played
Oh,
this.
this again? Ah, fuck this. Change the game.
Yeah, agreed. That's it.
You there are better minigames. And by better, I mean worse. But I just don't have time for this.
All right, what about Return Fire? What kind of game is that like?
Oh, you don't know Return Fire?
No.
That was like pretty fun co-op, or it's more of a multiplayer game, but it's this war game where you have to capture the other base's flag.
I'll give it a try.
It was one of the better games on the console released in the West.
I guess Mega
You'll
is
know
Mega Race a racing game, I'm assuming?
Yes. Mega Race is a racing game that uses FMV backgrounds.
Oh boy.
It's
That
pretty
was
cool.
creative at least. The tank blew up the 3DO logo.
Then the Dolby Surround logo.
Trap Exit. Bob's
Pretty-
attention span is far too short for many 3DO games. Honestly, yes, you're 100% right. I'm always willing to spend time on a game, but there's got to be a reason. Like, if a friend tells me you absolutely have to play this, just stick with it, you like it. Like, the first Ori game took like a good hour before I really got into it, but I loved it after that. So it's either somebody's going to really tell me that this is how you do it, or this is the best game to try to play, or it's going to just suck me in right away, which a lot of games do.
So Seven Kurgan says, Bob, I want to thank you for all the hard work. I've learned so much. It's because of you, My Life in Gaming, and Phone Dork. I care for the CRTs again.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm always really happy to hear that that things are a help. I try my best. My content's usually better than this. It's not Audi's fault. It's the 3DO's fault.
Well, you do very good content. I do enjoy, especially your Q&A videos. I always watch those and learn a lot from them.
Oh, really? So many people. I think those are like my least watched videos, but I like doing them.
Other than my interview?
Your interview did great.
So, Return Fire, by the way, is quite good. I see John saying it. And I do love, but you have to kind of play this in multiplayer. I'm not sure if, I don't think the magic will really work in single player. Maybe it will. The soundtrack is awesome too. It's all classical music. So, but this was legitimately one of the better games released in the US. You might note that I'm always saying like in the US and the West for 3DO, and that is because the library of games in Japan, Korea, and such was fairly different and pretty interesting. So it's basically what the PC FX should have been in Japan.
So is that the goal, to blow that up?
And that's your building, isn't it?
Well, the Hallelujah music just started playing, and I got a green flag.
All right. I get it then. Try. Someone's mentioning D, finally. Yeah, D is awesome. I do love the D. And that's by Kenji Ino and his company Warp. So get the Jeep and capture the flag. Change.
So I have to change?
Yeah, go back to the garage and change to the Jeep.
So I literally have to go land the helicopter?
Yes. What, you think the game's going to do it for you? There you go. But yeah, D. We should play D later on, but there's a couple other games. I don't think we gone through the list I actually sent you. We've just been playing shit. I see Vibe Mecha saying, what happened to M2? And I'm pretty sure you're referring to the machine that was supposed to be the successor to the 3DO, right? And not the company in Japan currently. But the M2, it was announced and it was shown off in Edge. They showed D2 was going to come out for it, and looked pretty interesting. And was canceled. It can be, the hardware can be found. It's actually in some Japanese arcade units that use the same. But
all right, so I have a question for you then. You and I guess John as well about this.
All right.
So this seems like a game that's pretty interesting, a capture the flag style. It seems like something I would absolutely enjoy playing, except, and I do 100% understand this is a grumpy old man way to look at things, but there are many games that I see that are like, oh, the Master System has an excellent port of Double Dragon. You should see that. And I'll play it, and I'll go, wow, this is really good. If I had played this in the late 80s, this would have been my favorite version. But nowadays, I have the luxury of firing up Double Dragon on the Mister and going, all right, now I get to play the arcade version.
But the arcade version is
And then I'm
shit
like,
for Double
you know
Dragon.
what? Now I don't even want to play, like, now if I'm going to play a beat 'em up, I'd rather just play a better beat 'em up. No offense, it's just if that's anybody's favorite game. So it's like, when I see games like this, especially in the context of, is this a game that you should buy a console for? All I could think about is, this is reminding me of a couple of other games that I'd rather be playing right now.
Okay, what's those games?
Like Desert Strike is very similar.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
This is like really fun, especially multiplayer. It's really fun versus each other because you have to be sneaky and have some tactics, or else you're just gonna die. I mean, Desert Strike was a helicopter game, an isometric one, which was mission based.
True.
And not all the same. I mean, I can see what you mean by like the fact that this is also slightly isometric and it has sand, but that doesn't help. Someone's saying the M2 was used in kiosks and a few arcade games. Yeah, the hardware was actually used for some games. And I think some of the engineers that worked on the M2 went to Microsoft and then worked on the Xbox. So there's some M2 in all your Xboxes. It's like the Turtles in Time argument. Did you make an argument about Turtles in Time or something?
I don't know enough about it to join that argument, to be honest with you.
Well, Mario, if you can tell us what the Turtles in Time argument is, I would love to know, because I'm very much into turtles.
All right, I know.
So John's saying the goal is to make a path to the flag through blowing up buildings and taking out enemies, using the Jeep to get the flag.
Listen to the sound. Hold on.
Yeah. A Doom 3DO version named OptiZoom. OptiZoom? Or not? Is it supposed to be OptiDoom? Is in the works, as I know, for making the game more playable. Yeah, Doom on 3DO has a very interesting story as well. So it's not a good game. It's one of the worst ports. I think John would be able to answer this, but he did a video on every console port of Doom, and I forget where that ended up in his listing, but I think it's pretty damn near the bottom, if not the bottom. So that Doom on the 3DO, man, it's a trip.
Do you know what this is reminding me of? Did you see that documentary Tread?
No.
It's about the guy who modified a bulldozer because all of his neighbors in this. Well, here, spoiler alert. The whole point of the documentary was that this guy moves into a very small town of like insular people, and they all messed with him and would do things like, go up to him at a party and be like, "Hey, we're gonna burn your house down. Hey, man, how you doing? Nice to, one of those." Was it like that? Or was he just crazy and paranoid and lost his mind? Or was it a combination of both of those things? But basically, he ended up getting fed up with everybody and built this bulldozer that the people who heard the story nicknamed the Killdozer, even though he didn't hurt anybody at all, actually, not physically at least. But and he ended up driving through the town, like literally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was interesting. If you're ever in a mood where just like the world pissed you off, watch that documentary.
So it's like Falling Down, but
in real life. The only thing that kind of annoyed me about the documentary is they kind of harped on the whole like, well, then he went after the town hall, but the public library's in the town hall, and there were kids in there. And then they cut to a bunch of people walking backwards with their cameras over in front of it. The top speed of that thing was 3 miles an hour. It could have turned the corner to the town hall. My fat ass could have run in, gone, "Everybody out, there's a bulldozer coming," and it still would have been far empty by the time that hit it. So while yes, I imagine it might be scary to think a building you were just in a half hour ago with kids in it was destroyed, I also think that, there was no actual chance of anybody being injured. So we'll see.
Lance Boyle, you're playing Mega Race. There you go. Mega Race is pretty... I like this game quite a bit. I like the sequel a lot too. I played that recently, and for the first time, I mean. And I was very impressed by how they furthered this technique with using FMV for actual backgrounds. So, but that's for another day. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about that Opti-Doom, which really interests me, because the 3DO Doom, which was done by Burger Becky in like, what, 3 weeks? 6 weeks? It's pretty insane. But it's a terrible version because it had to be rushed and there was no... it couldn't really be done any better. But it has a soundtrack. It has a exclusive soundtrack, which I think is pretty cool. So...
Am I supposed to be shooting these other cars?
Yep. They are your enemies.
And if I don't shoot them, they will shoot me. Got it.
Yeah, someone's saying there's a Japanese wrestling game on the 3DO. Yeah, Royal Pro Wrestling. And it's on my list. And it's very interesting.
All right, let me play one more round of this not very good racing game. I don't like racing games where you have to press up to go forward. And I don't even like it when you have to use up and down to shift. There should always be easier ways for that.
What's your favorite racing game then?
You know, this is always a hard one to answer because I always go back and forth. But I love Daytona. I love Outrun. I think Outrun would probably be my favorite. But F-Zero, always up there.
I'd say Outrun 2 for me is my all-time favorite racing game. And then Outrun 1. Well, Outrun 1 isn't racing, it's cruising. Let's see. Just seeing if we missed anything from you wonderful people out there. Someone's saying that I thought they were working on a new Mega Race game. I thought so too. Crash and Burn, yeah. We should check... after this, we should check some other fighting games.
Are there any good top-down shooters? Oh, I'm out of guns.
Top-down shooters?
I'm out of guns.
Top-down shooters.
Yeah, like the camera top-down, like 1943 and cave shooters and stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
I thought you meant like, what the hell is a top-down shooter? I'm like, come on, Audie.
No. Yeah, I don't play them that much, I have to admit. So actually, I wouldn't know. Most of the shooters that I know on the 3DO are mostly FMV based, like Burning Force and whatnot, which is cool. Shadowstar. Oh, and people are saying Outrun in the chat. Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown is an okay port for the 3DO.
Yeah, I'd rather just play the Neo Geo version.
Yeah, in that case, I would go for Neo Geo version. Yeah, I would say so. It's a pretty good compilation out now with the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection. So we're fans of Samurai Showdown.
So many of those ports are just terribly laggy emulation ports.
Yeah, this one's pretty good though. The new one, I mean.
Did you have a game queued up that you would like me to?
Well, let's see. Do you have Eye of the Typhoon?
Is that U.S.?
Korea.
Okay.
So I guess it would be in Japan.
I messed up this when I put them in. I didn't take the time to do that.
Oh. Would it maybe be under the Eye? The Eye of the Typhoon? Oh, you don't have it? Check in Japan.
Yeah, it
then.
could be in the Japan folder. I should have spent more time organizing this.
Maybe you don't have it.
A lot more Japanese games.
There was quite a few. This was pretty popular in Japan, so.
No.
Yeah, buddy. Says should do a video on the Memcard Pro and the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 PS1 exploit. Wonder if it will let you bypass having to use PS2 to put the file on the card.
I could certainly check into that, but I'm not the expert on that stuff. So I would give it a try, and if I could figure it out, I'll do a video on it. But if not, I'm gonna pass that to people that would absolutely be. One more super chat to suggest Incredible Machine or perhaps Killing Time. Let me try Incredible Machine then.
Yeah. Well, Incredible Machine is just fine. I mean, it's Incredible Machine. If you're into it, it's a good version. Are you into puzzle games though?
Sometimes I really loved Nicole's
All
game.
right.
That was a game that I thought we were going to play for 5 minutes and then do an interview, and I ended up playing for 2 hours and 20 minutes and barely talked to her. So you never
Oh.
know. She took it the right way, but like it's you never know if I'm going to love a game or not.
You should try Pyramid Intruder. Yeah, that's the Taito FMV shooter, which was called something else on the Laserdisc version. I forget. Pyramid
All right, now,
Runner?
real close look at
Something
the
like
machine
that.
on the left side of the screen. Then see if you can build one just like it on the right side, and make the bowling ball fall into
Slayer, yeah, that's a good dungeon crawler. Dragon Lore is another one that looks kind of good, but those take so long to get into. To do them on a stream is kind of is a little bit too much, I think. But those are good suggestions. But instead, we're playing Incredible Machine.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, you're supposed to get the balls into the pipes, no? You're gonna make us look so stupid by playing this game and not knowing what to do.
Oh, you should have seen the stream I did with
God,
Nicole. It was embarrassing. Some of the things I couldn't figure out, one or two of the puzzles. It was really bad.
That's okay. I specialize in making people look stupid on YouTube.
Okay.
Audie, what do you think of those NES albums that Limited Run is going to release? I have a lot of thoughts on those, and I think you'll be hearing those thoughts on the Limited Run podcast sometime very soon. So, but
The Limited Run podcast?
yeah, so he's talking about the 8-bit Music Power albums from Riki, which were released a few years back in Japan and on the Famicom, and now Limited Run are doing the actual NES releases for them, the NES cartridges. And yeah, that's a very important work for many reasons. So I'm happy that it's being done. And I tried many years ago to do the same. Corey I. Marsh Sr. Audie, you mentioned that Jurassic Park was one of the reasons 3DO failed, except for Street Fighter at the time. There wasn't a lot of exclusive platforms and extremely expensive. Agree. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that worked against the 3DO that, unfortunately, were sort of things that they had put a lot of their stakes in, right? Like, so the manufacturing and the competition didn't work out as they wanted, so the price didn't go down. They put a lot of stock into a lot of these partnerships, including Universal Interactive and Jurassic Park. So a lot of the front marketing for the system was around these games. And then, as well, at the time, there was a lot of buzz around FMV and entertainment systems. So they wanted to show off that capability, and had they just shown off like Street Fighter from the get-go, said that that was like one of the definitive versions of that game, and of course gotten the price down. I think there's a lot of cool things about the 3DO, especially the way that opened up the system to a lot of smaller developers. Could have been, the indies back then. So they had a lot of reasons to be excited, but it didn't work out because of that damn price point. How many ODE options does exist for the 3DO? I would assume only one?
Yeah, only this one that I know of, but hopefully there will be more. Okay, you hit C to bring up the menu that allows you to run or stop, but I'm also wondering how... Do I have to change the direction of this?
Maybe.
No instruction booklet is what makes these games a little harder.
Sure. Someone's saying that there is also a Russian ODE from an arcane
That's
site.
this one. Oh. If there's one that's different than the one that I have linked in the chat, then yeah. All right, hold on.
Speaking of Russia, 3DO had a pretty big presence in Russia due to the fact that the hardware is licensed out there, and during a time where it was a little bit more easy to source the hardware. And in Russia, you got a lot of these kind of like, not porn games, but like picture games, I guess, and whatnot. So, and then a lot of unlicensed software, obviously. So, the 3DO kind of made it big in all these places you wouldn't expect, like Korea and Japan. I mean, you wouldn't expect the American console to do that well, but the open nature of it really spoke to a lot of the PC development of Japan, like the PC-98. A lot of the PC-98 people that I know went over to work on 3DO right after the PC-98. So,
Audie, you got any ideas how to beat the first level? Hey, what's up, Lon? Lon's
No.
on the hunt for one of those Japanese FC1s that have the 240p output. Yeah, the original ones are pretty neat. They don't have the RGB out, but honestly, S-Video is excellent, so...
yeah. No, I don't know how to beat this. I'm just waiting for you to change the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you very, very much for the super chat, but I don't really get
Well,
the game.
let's quickly play his other suggestion just to make up for it. It was Killing Time,
Okay.
which is a US game.
And also,
which is
thank
also
you
by
very
Bert.
much for the super chat, Corey. I really appreciate
Yes.
that.
And this is another shooter from Burger Becky. So,
Killing Time. Here we go.
3DO Renovation is that other one. I don't know this stuff, so that would be for Bob to check out.
Yeah, I guess both sellers are from Russia then.
Off the rocky coast of Maine, heading
Yep.
toward the island of
Seems like it.
alone. My Egypt
The best emulator for 3DO is also Russian. It's called Phoenix. So again, just the presence of 3DO in Russia was quite extensive back then. The pain of playing Japanese games on 3DO is that the fonts are stored in the hardware itself in the body. Yeah, in some cases that is true. It's kind of like the GameCube. So you best be sourcing a Japanese one if you want. I have a Japanese one here. Because really the Japanese library is what you want to kind of... There's a lot of untapped good stuff in the Japanese 3DO library. It's just that we don't play that here. We just play garbage. The menu looks exactly like USB GD-ROM. I guess you're talking about the other
Yeah, this
ODE?
one is USB. It's the same creator, yeah.
Okay. Wish there was a box art GUI. Yeah, I guess on the 3DO that would be pretty low res though, but I suppose not 480i. FDO is a fork of Frito. They maintain the current fork Opera. Phoenix is based on the later 3DO fork that was unreleased. Oh, well, cool. That's really cool that you maintain Opera. So.
Hey, Lon said he got this 3DO in the fall of '94 when he was a freshman in college. His roommates and he had a blast with it. So, please, Lon, recommend a game or two that might hold up today that you played back then. Because so far, I'm not impressed at all. I would love to be able to say, like, well, if you want to experience a weird console and... here's the game that you could play. Here's the Thunder in Paradise of the 3DO.
Well, that would be the Phoenix 3, but you didn't like that either. So, games that are legitimately great, like Stellar 7 and whatnot, they're not streaming friendly. That's like a simulation game that's very good. And then on the Japanese side, there's a lot of great games, but the language barrier will probably take you out of it. But we will check out some more Japanese games after this.
A killer duck?
I did.
That's what one of the enemies is? Okay.
Yep. In the beginning, it's all ducks.
Oh, no, there's a person. Why does it take 3 shots to the face to kill a person? They were all good for the time, but don't hold up much. That's kind of what I'm finding. I'm finding that if I played a bunch of these games, in the early 90s, I'd have been absolutely thrilled with it. But now I just want to play another console.
Yeah, the Wing Commander games are also quite good on 3DO. They have good image quality. So, and then someone else said Lucian's Quest. Lucian's Quest is really interesting because it's a Japanese RPG which was released in the US for the 3DO, but it runs like garbage. Like an RPG with a low frame rate is not great. There was a Saturn port of it, which is only in Japanese, so maybe we can do like a fan translation for people who want to play Lucian's Quest. Let's see. For Japan, do a Yu Yu Hakusho.
Royal Pro Wrestling. That's one on your list.
All right, let's do that.
I like wrestling games. I feel like you might know something about wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I played a few of them.
Literally everyone that was ever made.
Yes, actually, quite literally, and every pachinko and every LCD game.
I'm so sorry.
I know that was a great idea that I should never have done, but this game is pretty cool. It doesn't have licensed wrestlers, obviously. It's by Natsume, as you could see, who are most known for Harvest Moon, but also speaking of LRG, they also did Shadow the Ninja, Spanky's Quest, things like that.
Lon said try Zadnost the People's Party. We could try that after this. Do you know that one?
All right, no, but I'm just reading that name.
Yeah. Twisted is great
but yeah,
too. I feel like I've played Twisted before. That's not a 3DO exclusive, right?
Is it? I thought that was the Warp game. Where's that Tripped? I forget.
Golden Lips versus Skunk.
Lips and Skunk.
Gee, I wonder who Golden Lips is supposed to be.
I don't know. Probably Macho Man. Right. Macho Man, Rick Rude versus Stang. But yeah, this game is kind of cool because it's kind of Natsume's take on championship wrestling or champion wrestler from Taito. And also you can say that it's pretty similar to Math Mania, which was one of the initial great wrestling games of the arcade. So this was never released outside Japan. It has a pretty good commentary if you know what they're saying. And but the controls are a little bit obtuse, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but it took me a while to understand this. But yeah, I wrote about this in my book, obviously, and it's quite hard to come by. This game, it was not produced in a lot of numbers apparently, so I had to go to Hokkaido to find it when I was in Japan to do interviews for the book, and someone noted that you can get it there.
Oh, it was the slowest frame animation of getting somebody out of the ring. That was like a slow motion thing. Oh, I'm gonna try to do that again. This game is not good.
Game still looks like WrestleFest from 1991. I think what the point, because based on the manual and stuff, how they discuss it, it seems very much like it is supposed to be a throwback wrestler, so that it's supposed to look like, an arcade game, so to speak, from that time, which is kind of interesting because it's still from 95. Most wrestling games at the time were kind of slow. This is just slower than usual, really. But you're really trying to get him to kick you out of the ring again, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the best part of the whole game.
So yeah, but there you
go. So is that his life bar up on the
thing.
top, or is that my life bar on the top?
It's a stamina bar. Did you guys try Way of the Warrior yet? Not yet. Oh, of course we will, because it's
That's a decent fighting game, right?
No, but it's an interesting one.
All right, we should do that
Yeah.
because this is
Well, next you should try Yu Yu Hakusho
okay.
from Japan. Let's see what that list was. I still haven't actually
You spell that
looked
with
at
a
what
Y,
I
I'm
sent
assuming?
you. Yeah.
I want to see one of the football games as well.
You mean American football?
Yes, the only kind. No, I'm kidding. One thing I do think is pretty interesting and definitely ahead of its time is the headphone port on the controller.
Headphone jack, yeah. So another anime fighter.
I mean, I'm complaining about the quality of these games, but at the same time, I'm also really enjoying the whole experience of going through a console I wish I had as a kid.
Same. It's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. I just do wish there was a game that I would like to go back to say, like, all right, well, you can't just go to an expo and try this at somebody's setup. You have to do this in person. You have to own this game. You have to play it and love it, and I just haven't found that.
All right, so go to the far left. Pick the far left option.
That's not. I don't think it's working. I think it froze.
Oh, really?
I could have a bad rip. Let me try reloading it.
Try. Man, yeah, I wanted a 3DO bad too, but here in Europe, they really didn't sell them. So like I can remember like one place that had it, and I think it was an import. So actually I've never really looked into what the availability in Europe was for this thing because it was so short-lived. But I do remember the CDI being at my local boutique of electronics for the longest time, and I wanted that thing. And then I finally got it. That's all I have to say about that. 3DO costs 10 months of average salary back in the day in Hungary.
All right, I'm gonna do this.
What?
I'm gonna do this on camera, so everybody know. Like,
All right.
see.
No, she's holding up the things. Oh, far left. That one. Go for it.
I press A.
Uh-huh.
Let me just be patient.
Alright.
Give it a moment. Maybe it's buffering. The light is blinking. The
Alright.
the access light. When this doesn't load, can you tell me what other game that I should play then?
Wow. $6.99. Yep, that was the original
Yeah, this one's a no-go.
price.
All right.
Alright.
So
Well, it looked nice.
to Lon's point of, you know, a lot of the best ones were ports of other things. There's one game I would definitely like to check out. Because there's a lot of cool games on here. Alone in the Dark are decent games. Bust a Move if you're into that. Corpse Killer.
The score, of course, D was great. Demolition Man, we haven't played that yet. That was an exclusive. Well, that version is exclusive.
Isn't Drug Wars also an exclusive shooting game?
That could be. I'm not. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the FMV one.
All right, so there's John Madden
there's-
Football 94. And
Oh yeah, American football. That's your thing. I will not pretend to know how any of that works.
well, I'm obviously not going to play a whole game, but I would like to load it up and see. Nelson
Someone's asking
Painkiller
how.
wants to know if we played Street Fighter 2 yet. Thank you very much for the super chat again, Nelson. And we did at the beginning. It's a very cool port, and it's just one of these things where I wouldn't suggest buying a 3DO for it because you could buy actual arcade of Street Fighter for probably the same price. But
Yeah. Fair. It has a good soundtrack though from the FM Towns version. Let's see. How is Flashback on 3DO? Flashback is another one of my favorites. It is quite good on the 3DO. I mean, Flashback is pretty much good on everything except the CDI. And it has the Sega CD cutscenes, which I'm not a fan of. So I don't prefer the 3DO version, but I like it just because it's Flashback.
Blade Force?
Blade Force is that's a weird shooter that they screwed up. So Blade Force is you're playing as this soldier that's flying around with a propeller and you have to shoot stuff. But they screwed up the camera, so the camera placement of the character is wrong.
Oh.
So you should try that. But literally the game is just kind of janky. But it was Blade Force.
Man, seeing that in 94
Hell,
would have been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Electronic Arts was a huge partner, obviously, here. Due to Trip. What was I going to say? I remember there was another game called, like, Hell, Cyberpunk Adventure, which I always thought looked kind of cool.
Lon says, see, this is a great example of the kind of stuff that set the 3DO apart in its day. Super high quality FMV, awesome 3D field. Yeah, agreed.
Yep. There's also like Need for Speed, which is it's better on PlayStation, I think, because the PlayStation version is more arcadey and goes faster. But I have a lot of respect for the 3DO version of Need for Speed with the much longer courses and just, again, like the 3D work that was done on this console.
Yeah, we could certainly try that one too, because I'm always down for a good racing game.
Icebreakers, I never played that, but that's wasn't it an aftermarket game? Or is that Icebreakers 2?
Mario E says in Japan this game was released as John's Madden. That's funny.
John's Maiden.
John's Maiden? No.
I think it's a maid joke. I have Hell. It's a PC port that has done. Yeah, that's right. Rise of the Dragon. Right, Rise for the Dragon. The one you mean?
Rise of the Dragon is on Sega CD.
Yeah. Icebreakers games for created later. Okay. See, I love, man, that's another thing I would like to talk about in some capacity, but I really love aftermarket games, and especially nowadays with like the new cartridges coming out and whatnot. This is really exciting for me, and I collect a lot of these new games coming out on cartridge from both the US and Japan, and I'm really happy to see that grow, because that was something I was even into back in like the early 2000s when the repro cards or the donor cards at that time with fan translations and whatnot started to pop up. I always felt like this idea would be so cool if they could make new PCBs, because I don't like the idea of the donor cards. And nowadays, now it's happening, and man, I try to be part of that shit for like back in the 2000s, and it was so hard to do that because the community wasn't there for this. I was part of a company that looked into doing it, and I just remember that the response to doing a cartridge in 2008 was like, because Pure Solar had come out, I think, or was coming out, so I was kind of inspired by this and was like, hey, this should be a market, shouldn't it? I mean, these consoles are still being played, there's like MagFest and whatnot you can sell them at. So this should be a business. And then the response was always just kind of like, no. Where are you going to source this stuff from? It's like, well, I mean, Fonzie like got it from somewhere.
Yeah, I have this thing now where when I hear no to problems that I know for a fact are solvable. Not like, hey, I don't know anything about this, Fujimi, but if something I know that there's an answer and somebody tells me, no, we can't do that, or no, that's not possible, I immediately stop talking to that person. And I think that's such a douchebag thing for me to do, but in all honesty, it's just the truth.
Well, it should be mentioned, though, that we were talking to, like, factories dealing with electronics and whatnot. But generally, I agree with you, though. And my reaction to people saying you can't do that or no is to do it, which has been pretty much my lifeline throughout my entire career. It's just like, okay, then I'll go do it and prove you wrong.
That's why my old boss used
Yeah.
to send me on all the and I really liked the guy, by the way, so this isn't an insult, but he used to send me on all the hell missions, like you know, no one else could figure this out and do it, and it's never because I was smart enough or smarter than other people. It was just that I was the person that took the time to say, all right, this is a solvable problem. Let's figure out how to make it work. The
exact same for me, where it's just like, well, we need someone that can untangle this Audi. You go. It's like, all right. And it really just comes down to sheer stupidity. Just like stubbornness and stupidity. Just not knowing better and not taking no for an answer. Click on the guy's face that's coming up. Yeah, you can talk to the Iceman or the X-Man. I think it's the X-Man in this game. That actor passed away, sadly, in this game. Now, when you play racing games, I can kind of tell already, but are you a cockpit man or are you an outside man?
Outside. All right, what about you?
I used to be outside, now I'm fully in the cock in the pit.
This feels so slow.
People are saying a nice Audi. I'm not sure what I did, but okay, thanks. Oh, Stitka is here. Or Stika? Sorry.
Stika, yeah.
Stika.
Yeah, you say
Well,
Pure
it's very-
Solar and he shows up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, we mentioned that. Well, it's very nice you're here. Very cool.
Steve and I will be doing a video relatively soon, in a few weeks or something, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You should try Captain Quasar.
Wait, I loaded the wrong damn...
Come on, man.
Sorry, give me a second.
Come on.
Alright, patience, Bob, patience.
Mom's a little sweaty, breathing hard.
There you go. There he is. The X-Man.
Alright.
This Need for Speed is mostly a test drive sequel and more of a simulator. Yep, that's why I kind of like it.
Somebody said to click on him, so that's what I'm doing. I just clicked on the guy's
You
face.
got two options. You can take this baby out and run her up against the clock. Or for the initiated, I suggest a little challenge. One-on-one, a little mano-a-mano. Come on, you know what to do. Let's go.
You don't enjoy it?
So which one should I be going for?
You mean which window? Well, that one selects the car.
Okay.
And the other one selects the map.
So Lamborghini.
I mean, this was based on this was connected to some sort of magazine, right? Road and Track or some shit like that.
I believe so.
I don't like cars, so I don't know anything about them other than that they go forward and backward sometimes.
It's so embarrassing, but I can't really figure out, like, what... Alright. City. Alpine. Alright, that's the one I want.
Yeah.
And
Then the car keys probably starts, right?
we'll find out.
There you go.
Alright.
There you go.
So the what I used to love to do on the PC version of this is to get it going as fast as I possibly could and see how high I can make the car jump. So let's see if we can do it on this one. Oh.
I remember doing that in like Need for Speed 2. Don't worry, Audi, I don't like cars. Every time I see one, I give it a sideways glance. I like driving them a lot. I drive cars at night just to relax. Cars, I don't steal them. I drive my car at night just to like therapeutically. So I love doing that.
I
listen
sold
to
my
music.
car like almost 2 years ago now, and it's brutal. Like you know, going around Manhattan, it's the opposite. You'd be stupid to actually drive a car, but
yeah, I wouldn't drive there.
But like going around anywhere outside of Manhattan, it was just brutal. Everything's 2 hours, 3 hours to get to and from a place.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't live without a car, and especially where I live, of course, but also just in general, it's so relaxing to drive. Probably not in Manhattan, though, you're right. I used to be a lot in Bay Ridge back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mind driving in Manhattan, but with parking, that's where it just gets dumb. And also with depending the
Yeah.
time of day, like a friend picked me up to go to Jersey the other day, and we were stuck between my house and the Lincoln Tunnel for like 40 minutes on 10th Ave, and it's like, this is something I could have walked in half the time. But getting outside of Manhattan, driving in, it's not a problem. It's parking and traffic, but try doing anything outside of it. And it's just, even going to Brooklyn, going to Brooklyn Video Games is very close to Bay Ridge, and getting there on the train, it's like an hour and a half nowadays. It's like
Yeah.
a 30-minute drive.
In 1991, I was listening to Rage Against the Machine and Nirvana. I hated Nirvana.
I always liked it.
Dear Lord, I hated them.
I liked it in the same way I like pop music. I liked it at the time, and then I moved on when the next thing came out.
I was a Guns N' Roses kid at the time.
Love Guns.
And I just... I could not get into Nirvana at all. I liked Weird Al's take on Nirvana.
Weird Al's take on everything is awesome.
That's true. But Rage Against the Machine I like quite a bit. So...
They were kind of the same.
And I think both
like radio
both you and I play guitar,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I'm terrible at guitar because I haven't kept up with it in years now. But
Guitar's like one of the few things I don't suck at.
I did see your intro to, or the trailer you made for the CD Icestream, and I enjoyed that.
Thank you very much. I loved doing that. That was so much fun.
Soundgarden and Alice in Chains are the best CL bands of that era. I do like Alice in Chains. The first time I heard Alice in Chains was in Street Fighter the animated movie, because Them Bones is in there.
I really appreciated all that stuff, but for me, a lot of that was pop music. I loved it when it came out, even though it wasn't pop music. It's the same, and then I just get tired of hearing it. Whereas the metal stuff, like, doesn't matter if I, first heard this song, or if the song first came out last year, or if it came out in the '80s. Like a really good, like, hard rock to metal song. It's just, I'll always love it. In Flames, Megadeth, all that stuff.
Yeah, Megadeth I didn't listen to much to. What did I listen to circa 1991? Back then, I listened a lot to Tom Jones because I love his music.
I can't think of Tom Jones without thinking of Carlton anymore.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I always loved him, still do. But generally, what was I listening to? A lot of Guns N' Roses, some Metallica, but I was never a huge Metallica guy. But I liked some of their albums.
I also loved rap too. Anything Dr. Dre was a part of, it caught my ear big time. And then when DMX came out, holy shit, that guy's voice is the sound of a heavy metal guitar. It was perfect. It was the perfect combination for me of, like, even though it was never metal, it's in my brain, that's what it processed it as, rap and metal.
Yeah. Rap, hip-hop in general, I listened a lot more to that later in life. Like these days I'll listen a lot to like Shingo and like Nuja Bass and stuff like that. So like lo-fi hip-hop. In the mid-90s I was really into Boyz II Men, and I know most of their lyrics by heart.
That guy's got the most punchable face I've ever seen. But you see, in
the X-Men?
Yeah. I just got sucked
DMX
into that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I know it's a game I've played before, but not in a long time, and that's not even the best version. And I still really enjoyed that one.
Let's play Ultraman.
Ultraman Powered, the Japanese game?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just looking at your list as well here.
Trying to think of why did there was something about Megadeth recently where I had to look them up. I'm trying to remember why.
The wrestling game with the songs on the back or something in the Japanese one?
No, wrestling related. You're right. I did the So some people might know, but I've been doing a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme auto commentaries for Blu-rays because they've been re-released with my auto commentaries on them, which is still surreal to say.
I listened to that. I listened to the whole thing, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
It was very awesome. I agreed with everything you said, but the whole time it was just a little bit surreal, I guess is the right word. And I'm like, I'm hearing Audi on Street Fighter? I guess it's...
Yeah, Street Fighter was the first one, and I've actually done about 15 of them, believe it or not, now. But yeah, we were doing Universal Soldier: The Return with Van Damme and Bill Goldberg, who was a wrestler for WCW. And the theme song to Universal Soldier: The Return was sung by Megadeth with Goldberg in the chorus.
Yes, that's right. So it didn't
It's
load.
like Mashem or something?
It didn't load the Japanese version.
Oh, God. Fuck. All right. Well,
And
what
now
else?
I'm looking at the US version. Sewer Shark. Oh, God.
Let's do Shadow. There was an Ultra game on 3DO. It's a fighting game with pre-rendered graphics. It's quite interesting and terrible.
Apocalyptic Minister said, right now I've been really losing it on Killswitch Engage with Howard Jones. Jesse Leach is awesome, but Howard, oh my God. Yeah, honestly, I was at the show at North 6 in Brooklyn where they got signed, back with Jesse in the band. I still have the bootleg of that. You can see my fat arm right in the front. I'm like right up against the fence. I was there for that, and then I was there the first tour with Howard, and I was so nervous going into that because I thought they were such an amazing band and I thought Jesse was a good fit. And then I heard Howard and I just went, oh man, this guy's so much better in every way. And then when the Howard left and I saw the anniversary tour, Jesse was awesome. I also saw him with Times of Grace. He was great. And then when he joined the band again, I went, oh man, how is this going to be compared to Howard? And I actually thought he killed it. I thought his voice got so much better from the early days, and he really, he does a good job with Howard songs. Howard does Howard songs better, but I still think they're both amazing, and I love Killswitch with both of them. They played at a venue right down the street from my house, and it was so weird because I got home, showered, and got into bed before I would have even normally been to Grand Central to head home. It was one of these things where, like, I've never been this close to the action before. It was so cool. It was like my real New York moment where I was like, holy crap, this is so awesome living here.
Speaking of so awesome, though.
Not this game.
I was going to say, what do you think of this game?
They legit stole Finish Him with pre-rendered graphics. This is terrible.
Well, I mean, I suggested it.
Ash said, I only know Howard Jones, the 80th pop synth guy. All right. Let's try to find another game that's a little bit more like people might actually know it. And
well, there was a Blade Force, which someone mentioned, which is from Studio 3DO.
Just give it a try. Can't be any worse than the other games that we played.
Oh, you say that, but we're not done yet.
Lily Larceny, is there a game with pre-rendered graphics that isn't terrible? Donkey Kong Country?
Donkey Kong Country, I was just about to say that. Let's see what else. I mean, there's probably several, but man, thinking on top of my head like this is always terrible.
Okay.
There is GQ Pro Wrestling on
Burning Soldier?
Super Famicom.
Jeremy seems pretty dead set on us playing Burning Soldier.
That's a good FMV shooter from Genki. Killer Instinct, yes. Killer Instinct. That's a great one. See?
Oh, there you go. Whoever Dr.
Mortal Kombat, of course. It's so apparent that you don't think about it because you try to go for the obscure shit. By the way, I'm not sure if anyone has noticed, but I'm wearing my Nekopara t-shirt today. It is a game that I worked on.
I got my Laser Bear shirt on.
Oh, fine.
It's a bear who shoots lasers from his eyes. I think I won.
Well, in Nekopara, it's cat girls that get fucked.
Oh.
I guess.
But they're cats?
cat girls. I don't know their biological like setup.
Damn it, Bob! Don't judge them.
I don't.
So what are we doing here?
Well, you're flying around shooting stuff, right?
Pick up.
And of course, the as you can see on the ground there, you have the tutorial written out for you.
Pick up for stronger guns. But how do we start a game? The game isn't running through lightning bolt boxes.
So apparently, the camera was supposed to be further back or like lower down or something. And in QA, this was changed due to some miscommunication. So when they released this, it was released with this camera, which is kind of awkward. I guess it's a kind of like proto over-the-shoulder Resident Evil 4 camera, though. So maybe we should say it's actually good.
These draw distances, holy shit.
Yeah, well, someone's expecting a little bit too much out of the 3DO, I think.
Shoot me.
So now you have to blow those up. It's a neat way of doing the tutorial, though. Just writing it, spelling it out for you. Vibe Mecha, have either of you checked out Jean-Claude Van Johnson? Thoughts? Yes, I actually just watched that with my partner, and both she and I loved it. And are you familiar with that show, Bob?
No, is it any good?
Yeah, it's really good. It's basically a kind of parody series that was on Amazon Prime, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he played himself and a secret agent.
I feel like I absolutely watched that, and then
there was a pilot of it that was pretty popular, and then they made 5 episodes of it, and yeah, like
I think I did see that, and I think it was good, but not like the best thing I've ever seen. But I do remember it, sorta.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny, and especially for someone like me who's watched all his movies like 100 times. There's a lot of references and fun stuff for me to pick out on, so I had a lot of fun with it. I will though agree that there's some things that's just kind of underdeveloped. It was kind of clear that they had 5 episodes to make it, and then that was going to be it. So kind of wish it had a season 2 to kind of flesh out some things a little bit more, some of the characters. But for what it was, very funny, and I quite enjoyed. Apocalyptic Minister, thanks for the shout out, Bob.
Thank you very
Audi,
much.
I haven't seen many of your videos pop up in a while, brother. Algorithm. I don't make videos. I just piggyback on famous people.
And me.
And
famous people.
And then I
Bob,
show
yeah.
up on Bob's streams when he's desperate for a guest. It's like Jimmy Hoppa and Yahel couldn't do it this Sunday. Can you come, Audi? He's like,
So
sure.
it's Jean-Claude Van Johnson?
Yeah. It's on Amazon Prime.
I want to double check, because I think, is that the one with Felicia Rashad was in there or something?
Och hej, Audi, undrar om du förstår svenska kanske? Ja, jag förstår svenska. Jag snackar svenska.
I did see it. Felicia Rashad was like the like one of the people in charge. I did see that one. Okay.
Yes. It was produced by Ridley Scott.
And that's enough of that. I couldn't even figure out where to go out of the tutorial. I was just literally flying in circles.
That's fine. We're not here to play video games.
Crash and burn. What is
I guess
D, by the way?
So D is another Kenshi Ino game. It's an FMV horror game with lots of puzzles.
Okay, that seems like something I should play if I had time to sit with it.
It's a great game. It's one of the best FMV games of its era. So you know, when people think like Seventh Guest and whatnot, I feel sorry for them because Seventh Guest sucks. But D is pretty cool.
I enjoyed Seventh Guest.
Of course you did.
As a kid, though.
Yeah. Well,
Phantasmagoria
sure.
was better, though. As
a kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Phantasmagoria, yeah. I never got to play that, but I saw it on TV on Games Master, which was a TV show here in Europe, which was pretty cool for the time. Man, that frame rate on that tile screen.
The guy from Phantasmagoria, the husband, reminded me of the bad guy in Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, kind of.
It wasn't
You're right.
him, but he gave me that same
No.
creepy long-haired guy vibe. Like, I bet you he
Yeah,
went for that role, and they turned him down.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. Seventh Guest is one of the best CDI games. Actually, yes, that is true. Technically, it is. It looks very good on the CDI. Is that a DVI game or DVC? Sorry, not DVI. DVC. I forget.
Yeah, definitely.
It is? Okay. Games Master is good. Cybermaster is better. I think Games Master is better. I'm surprised to see. I guess there's other European people here because Games Master. When I am in the US and mention that, it's always people are just like, "What?" And the Games Master was this awesome video game show where people played against each other, and then there would be a celebrity per week to challenge them. Yeah, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan was there once. The cast of Mortal Kombat showed up.
Really?
Yeah. I have that. It's in the Mortal Kombat episode of DF Retro. We show it off. So, pretty cool stuff.
I definitely
that
watched
was a
that
fun
too.
time.
I think...
Was it on TV? Did you watch it on YouTube, you mean? Or was it on TV?
No,
in the US?
your episode, the Mortal Kombat episode.
Oh. Yeah. It's in there. Because I dug up that footage for that episode. Cybermaster was a Portuguese spin-off of Games Master with tons of BDSM? God damn Portugal. My favorite part was Bad Influence, when they showed the latest tech in the US, like Silicon Graphics supercomputer. Yeah. So, Bad Influence, I didn't watch that much because I didn't like the host too much. The lady was fine, but the guy kind of always, maybe, he was kind of like Richard Ledbetter. And so I wasn't too a fan of that, but I do remember watching that a few times. And there was another one that was Games World on Sky, which Sky being a UK channel. And that was really interesting because each weekday was a different type of video game show. So Wednesdays would be like the tip show, Monday would be like the contest show, and things like that. So I remember watching that a lot, but that hasn't been archived. I'm not sure why. I know Games Master is completely archived. Someone's working on an HD remaster of that stuff, but Games World seems to be pretty forgotten.
So this is basically the same as the PlayStation version, just 30 frames per second instead of 60, right?
Yeah, that would be it. Good game though, Gex.
How do I walk? Do I just do it?
Oh,
there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, Sky One. That's the channel. They used to show Ninja Turtles in the morning, and WWF Superstars on Saturday, and then Games World during the day. Good times. And DJ Cat Show. Does anyone out there remember DJ Cat Show? I always wanted the plushie of DJ Cat. He was a pretty cool guy. Good memories. I was going to ask you something. I was going to ask you regarding all this. I'll probably remember later. Oh, yeah. But here in Europe, another thing we had, when it came to video games on TV, we had something called Hugo, which was a little troll. I think he's a Danish creation, but it was on every channel here. And basically, people would call in and control the video game with their touchpad or the dials on their phone. But this meant that there would be a horrible delay, like a lag of, 5 seconds? So try to play like a reflex-based game with a phone with 5-second lag. No one could beat that on on TV. I remember being so frustrated watching that because I felt so bad for everyone who called in and spent like $5 per minute trying to play that damn game. Yeah, people seem to be remembering Hugo in the chat.
All right, so not a bad game, not my favorite game, but
Gex is fine. It's fine.
right. Let's see if we could find something redeemable.
Way of the Warrior.
Okay, Way of the Warrior.
You know who developed Way of the Warrior?
The Mortal Kombat crew?
No. Naughty Dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, it's their first game. Let's see. People are talking about Hugo. Well, I did my job. Yeah, Brazilian spin-off of Nick Arcade. I sort of remember something like this on VHS tapes. I used to live in Brazil, and my girlfriend at the time had a lot of this stuff taped because she was a big gamer. She probably still is a big gamer. So I kind of have some vague recollection of what you're talking about. Video gaming in Brazil was pretty interesting. Maybe one day we'll talk about that in depth. You can listen more to my interview with Bob on the channel, though, if you want to know more. What age are you? I am born in 1985.
Old fucking man.
Audi doesn't age. He's immortal. You know, I guess I look a little bit younger than I am. I don't know. How old are you, Bob?
How old would you like me to be?
I'm gonna pitch you at 30, but
39.
I feel like you're 39.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're older than me. I thought you were younger than me for some
That's
reason.
funny. No one, my whole life, no one's ever been able to guess my age. It's kind of funny.
Well, I hope you take it as a compliment that I thought you were 10 years younger than you are. How old do you want me to be is your pickup line. Yep.
I can't tell you how many times I've said that. And the reactions I get from people range on every level of the spectrum. It is so funny just to watch people sometimes when I say stupid shit like that.
Have you played Road Rash yet?
Yeah,
yes, we did. That was the first game.
All right.
Audie's a Highlander. I love Highlander. No joke, I love Highlander.
I think this guy and the Need for Speed guy should go out because they both have that same face that's really antagonistic.
You mean like dating each other?
Yeah, that'd be a.
I think they would make a nice couple. Yeah.
I think the first date might go really bad because they're both going to try to be the bigger douchebag. All right. Demo mode? What's that?
I think that's just watching other fighters.
Okay.
You probably like the soundtrack to this game, though. It's by White Zombie.
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
Entire soundtrack.
Well, let me play a demo and see if we can hear the music.
Highlander is great. Highlander is great. Except the second movie, the third movie, the fourth movie, the fifth movie, the TV series, the cartoon, the video game, the other video game. It's pretty great. Your interview with Bob was great, Audie. I really enjoyed it. Well, thank you so much. You got a lot of good response to that. And I was Bob can tell you, I was very nervous when I did that because I thought people were going to say this is fucking boring. Why did you interview this guy?
Nope.
And then people reacted very positively to it. And I still get messages regarding that interview to this day. And it's been 2 months now. So very nice.
Great interview. You were awesome. I was there.
You were there.
That's about all I'll give myself. I was there. All right, you guys have been talking about D, and I want to see what it looks like. I'm really curious.
Do disc 1.
This is disc
There's
1, right?
4 discs.
Okay.
Yep. Wrestling Gaming is here. Yeah, hell. Very convenient that you're not banging the desk around like you were streaming the CDI. You know, yeah, hell. I've been working out again in preparation for our eventual wrestling match against each other.
Oh, we're definitely doing this.
We have to get a ring, and I have pictures that I posted on Twitter regarding this. I did go to school, and so in high school I did Greco-Roman, and I was pretty good. And then I chased the dream of pro wrestling for a year and a half. And during that time, my finisher was a Phoenix Splash, which, if people know what that move is, Yes, it's very dangerous, and yes, I got hurt a lot of times, and yes, it's very cool when you pull it off.
Voltar, hashtag cancel RetroRGB. They keep trying. They keep trying.
Yeah, I don't know Voltar, but I do enjoy his Twitter feed. It's pretty entertaining to see. And I also have a lot of respect for your work on the modding stuff. So
It's funny. There are so many weird rumors going around about Voltar, and
and you, like
well, those may or may not be
in
true,
the
allegedly.
yeah, I was gonna say some of them sounds pretty plausible, especially the one behind like the barn.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the fun ones because it's like, it's like even if it doesn't land well, the intent is to be silly and have fun. So like those I at least understand, but some of the really bad ones I'm just like I don't really get it. Are you mad that he's better at soldering than you are? If you're gonna make stuff up, like at least make up stuff that seems plausible, not total over the top craziness.
Yeah, D. So you never played D, huh?
What else was it on?
PlayStation and Saturn.
That was right about the time in my life when the PlayStation came out that booze and chicks meant so much more to me than video games. So when I wasn't doing that,
Oh, yeah.
and I was drag racing at the time too, so it's like if I had a chance to do anything that wasn't those three, it would be guitar. So video games really took a back seat. I still kept up and I still played them now and then, but
Yeah. I never really replaced my video games with women ever. I broke up with a girl once because she didn't like Jackie Chan movies, which is a story in itself. I'll tell that one day, but I mostly dated women, and of course now very madly in love with a woman for many years that loves video games. So I've always been able to integrate it in my love life. So
lucky you.
what I'm saying is that I usually bang to the Mario Kart soundtrack.
That's creepy. So I do see what people were talking about, and that this is not a game that I would enjoy on stream, but this is absolutely a game I would like to come back to, maybe on PC or something, and kind of figure out what it's
I would
like.
say that this is a perfect stream game, actually, because it's very haunting, and I mean it's a bit slow paced, but the puzzles are fun to figure out and whatnot. We should do a D stream one day.
You should do it, and you should play, and I'll be watching the chat and paying attention because it'll take me a while.
Yeah, as I said, I don't make my own content. I just piggyback on other people's content.
Fine, we'll swap, but you stream on RetroRGB.
Oh man, you and your swapping. You always ask me to swap.
It is true.
Psychic Detective is another one that well, you shouldn't play it, but that's another like FMV puzzle game. I used to play that a lot back in the day on the PlayStation. Isn't there other?
Let's do it.
I'm trying to think.
Let's do it.
Who doesn't like Rush Hour? I actually don't like Rush Hour.
Mark Dell and the Mario Kart soundtrack bangs.
Hong Kong cinema is a treasure in itself. So yes, yeah, right. And Hong Kong cinema, I'm really into. And actually, I think we mentioned this in your interview, but if not, I'm currently writing a book on Hong Kong action and video games. So, and I just found a publisher for it, so it should be announced proper, hopefully soon.
Ash said, "Is that like racing but in high heels?" It's funny. One of my friends actually tried to get on RuPaul's Drag Race, and we all got fired up and tried to vote for him to get on and everything, but he just missed. I've never actually seen the show, but everybody says it's good. If you're into reality TV, which I am not, so I probably wouldn't think it was good.
I watch 90 Day Fiancé religiously.
All right, I gotta just say right now, I've never played this version, and I've only played the Sega CD version once, but holy crap, does this look better.
It looks much better, doesn't it? I mean, night and day. Was this one of the ones that Limited Run republished, by the way?
I have no idea.
Because they've done Corpse Killer. They've done Night Trap, of course, which My Life in Gaming did a great documentary on. And what else did they do from this lineup, from Digital? And maybe Super Shark? I'm not sure.
The acting in this.
I actually like Wrestling and Gaming. I actually like Tom Zito. His games are definitely an acquired taste, but he had a passion for this stuff. He may have been a tad bit disillusional. Yeah, a tad bit. But I agree with you, Al. I actually do have a kind of respect for this stuff, because he really did try to push it forward. I mean, he didn't just do, like, one game and then that's it. I mean, there's all this experimentation with the formula. Gotta love that.
This game would be so much more fun with either a mouse or a light gun.
Yeah, I'm not... Is it compatible with either?
I don't know. Does anybody in the chat know? I mean, obviously, I don't think there was a 3DO mouse, but maybe for the Sega CD. But this version is just... There's a
3DO mouse. That can be used on like Police Knots and stuff like that. And yeah, Police Knots was originally on the 3DO, which is the Hideo Kojima game, the follow-up to Snatcher.
I never finished it. I just started playing it, and I really think that's one of those. Both of those games are one I need to really sit and play if I ever have the time to play.
Yeah, so. As someone that has worked on visual novels for the last 15 years, Police Knots, I think, generally is pretty interesting and fun in the sense that, like, it's aping off so much, like, Western movies and whatnot, and you can point it all out because it's so obvious, but I don't think it's... I never saw the greatness in Police Knots other than the soundtrack. And then Snatcher, I think... is great, especially the Sega CD version. That's actually the best version.
Well, that's definitely how I would be playing it, because I would want to play it on Mister on a CRT.
Yep. Yeah, the Sega CD version of Snatcher is awesome with the very good English voice cast.
So, all right. I feel like we should play one or two more just to see if there's any we missed, but I'm not walking away very confident in the 3DO's library. I do think that there's some of the best ports of games on here. That was an amazing... If you like Sewer Shark, that looked way better than the Sega CD version. But I don't know. Demolition Man?
It's Demolition Man. Yeah, let's do that. That's an exclusive version that they made specifically for the 3DO. So they got the actors back to make new scenes.
Lily Larson wants to know, was that the whole game? I mean... No, but yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier with 3DO, there's a ton of great games on it, but a lot of them are Japanese or Korean, and then in the Japanese context, there's too much language barrier for us to go through on the stream. So when you ask me, like, hey, do you have a list? I have a huge 3DO collection. But it's all very text heavy or just kind of takes too long to get set up. So unfortunately, we have to focus on Demolition Man today.
I loved this movie. I rewatched it.
I love it too.
I watched it again a few years ago and it seemed to hold up.
Well, I love it all the way up until Dennis Leary shows up. And then he's Dennis Leary.
Yeah, he's
so
the worst
I fast forward that part. Yeah, and then I just continue. But I do love Demolition Man, even though...
Oh,
Stallone.
Wait, here we go. All right, I was just being impatient.
Oh. There you go. So this is like this multi-genre game. Like you'll have some side-scrolling parts, you have some shooting parts. I guess this is the thunder in paradise of the 3DO, right?
I don't know. If there was a mouse, I'd be enjoying this so much. I hate playing these types of games with a controller. Like Ground Zero Texas. I remember there was a couple of parts in the game where you could not move the controller from the right side, the lower right side to the upper left side fast enough. It was just impossible. I never beat the game because of it. Needed a mouse, but light guns, like, wouldn't this just be the perfect game for a light gun?
It might be compatible for all I know. And as I mentioned, there is a mouse. I don't know if it's compatible though. But yeah, see, these are all exclusively filmed for the 3DO. They got Stallone. I think Wesley Snipes is in here too. But yeah, we should just go ahead and say that this is the Thunder in Paradise for the console.
This is a cool game.
Yeah, it's not bad.
My only complaint is nothing to do with the 3DO. I just hate all games where you use the controller for this.
You have to shoot the grenades too.
Yeah, the controller doesn't move fast enough. Excuse me, sir. What is your boggle?
What's your boggle? I love the fact that all the restaurants have turned into Pizza Hut.
No, it was Taco Bell.
No, it was Pizza Hut.
It was Taco Bell. I don't know what low-rent version of Demolition Man that you were watching, but...
I'm from Europe, dude. Like, in Europe, we didn't have Taco Bell, so they changed all the mentions to the Pizza Hut.
Are you serious?
That's the joke. Yeah,
I never knew that.
I'm serious.
That's so funny.
Yep. If you watch the European cut of Demolition Man, you'll have, like, Stallone overdub himself to say Pizza Hut. And it's so awkward because, like, Pizza Hut. It's like...
I knew that one so powerfully because not only did I remember it from when I was a kid, but Taco Bell is the only fast food I actually enjoy. I don't eat it very often.
Oh, I love Taco Bell.
I don't really like the rest of it. And when we watched the movie a couple years ago, my wife was like, of course it's Taco Bell. Of course that's why you like this movie.
Yeah, I love Taco Bell. It's my guilty pleasure when I'm in the US. But, yeah, it was Pizza Hut here in Europe, so... Yeah, the logo for Taco Bell could be... I was always confused about this when I watched the Demolition Man, because they kept saying Pizza Hut, and then when they get to the restaurant, it said Taco Bell, and I was like, fuck is Taco Bell?
Why wouldn't they have just left Taco Bell? They think people are so stupid.
This was like in the 90s, and Taco Bell didn't exist outside of the US.
Well, wouldn't you, as somebody who's never heard of a food chain, just assume that it's a food chain, fast food chain?
I think it was more just like it's a product placement, and I'm guessing there's some money involved, so I guess they just wanted to still kind of have that placement in there. I don't know.
I really like that game.
It makes it more realistic.
I just can't play it without a mouse or a light gun.
That's fine. I mean, we already confirmed that it's the best Demolition Man game ever made.
Flashback. Flying Nightmares.
I've never heard of it. It's an American Lasers game, though, so I can only assume the quality. There's a joke about Pizza Hut and Poltergeist, and they cut it out. No. Flying Nightmares from Domark.
The only reason I remember this one is because I had the opportunity to buy one of these sealed, and I was just like, no. Like a year or two ago. It says loading? Okay.
Yeah. Lifelike. Let's see how lifelike it actually is. Pizza Hut didn't like the joke. In Poltergeist, I guess, then, yeah. Could be.
Arcade.
Domark still existed in 1995. Yeah, Domark mostly did, like, Amiga and Mega Drive games in Europe. I was surprised to see their name on this, too. But it was so Euro, I didn't want to bring it up. Oh, I can already tell this is gonna be riveting.
I can't figure out how to go.
Yeah, I'll read the chat while you try to figure that out. Domark did some early PC flight sims, so apparently...
Alright, hold on. Let me just show everybody what I'm doing here. So start brings up the external view. Select, because they don't call it select because it's the 3DO. Game controls. Up and down. This does nothing. Triggers just turn on and off the HUD. A. B. B switches weapons, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
C does nothing. So how do we take off?
What I would try to do is turn off the game and pick something else.
All the buttons at once. Yeah, nothing. Abort mission.
Abort game.
Let's try combat.
Oh, God damn it. Why combat? Why not arcade?
Because arcade didn't work, apparently.
Oh, that was arcade? Okay. I thought arcade maybe just started you in the air or something.
A button to fly, B button to quit. Just hit A to fly.
Someone says hold a button and press up. Okay, try to hold a button and press up.
I want to do this.
Or down.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, what? I need to get the manual. Oh, God.
All right, next game.
All right. Did you try Nova Storm yet? Best on-rail shooter. There's a lot of people coming into this chat saying best this, best that, but not sure.
All right. Let's see what we got.
Someone's saying they're currently eating an egg sandwich.
I'm hungry. I'd
Me
like
too.
an egg sandwich.
I wouldn't mind an egg sandwich at all. Is it just bread and egg, though? That sounds like...
I don't know how you guys do it up there, but we do bacon, egg, and cheese.
We have what's called an open sandwich, which is usually bread, butter, and then a topping.
Yep, I've had those.
Amiga CD32 versus Panasonic 3DO. So I would pick the 3DO because the 3DO is an actual console, whereas the Amiga CD32 is just a shell with an Amiga inside. And I love the fucking Amiga. I grew up on the Amiga. I worked with people who worked on the Amiga. So I was, the project manager on Goddamn Turk and Anthology. But Amiga 32 is just... It's the shit, dude. Like, it's just the shits. The games they ported over didn't take any advantage of it. And don't you bring up Zool. If you say Zool, I'll slap you in the face. Because Zool was the same game with just a bad FMV sequence on top. And what else was on there? There was Street Fighter 2 Turbo on there, too. And that's terrible. Flink. But Flink is better on the Mega Drive. So yeah, the Amiga CD32 just doesn't have anything exclusive. No, I'm not picking the 3DO over the Amiga. I'm telling you that the Amiga CD32 isn't worth it. You're wasting time and money by doing that.
Is it possible to just mute one person on the stream? That's funny. Alright, I just restarted it because I like the reversed controls. So down is up and up is down for games like this. But I'm going to give it another try.
Okay.
It looks like all three buttons do the same thing. Or I'll just shoot, which is fine. Trigger is the special, which just looks like a cloud seizure.
So I grew up with all this stuff because my brother was older than me, and he was 7 years older than me. So when I was born, he was already into like C64 and Amiga. So that's why I played this much more than I did. I got the NES in '87, and I was pretty young, of course, but I still remember that day, and I have a picture of it. And I was still very much into my C64 and Amiga until, say, 94, 95-ish. Oh, stop quoting me. The 3DO is better than the Amiga CD32. Did you have a 3DO back in the day? No, they didn't sell it in Europe. If someone from Europe can tell me if they ever sold it. I found a Jaguar in Europe, but I never found a 3DO. And it probably would have been too expensive. Jet Strike on the CD32 had those weird audio clips when he died. Oh, wow. That's your exclusive feature right there. I have a Amiga CD32 laying around here, so I want to get it modded. Jaguar was crap too. Actually, I kind of liked Jaguar. When the Jaguar is good, it's good. It's just very rare.
So what game? I know we're streaming 3DO here, but what game on the Jag that's not Tempest would you say is a must?
I don't like
Tempest.
Tempest.
Love Tempest with the spinner controller, not with the stupid D-pad.
So the must-haves, Doom for sure. Doom on Jaguar is awesome, and some people are probably going to say it doesn't have music, which is true. But they are actually making a mod now that has the music put back in, so that's pretty cool. I really like Dragon, the version of Dragon that's on Jaguar. I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but I like it. Let's see what else is good on the Jaguar. Super Burnout. Man, Super Burnout is an amazing game. It's like a Superscaler game from another universe. Yeah.
Well,
Power Drive is good. There is a Bubsy game on it. I am very well aware, but it's terrible. Rayman is pretty cool. I mean, the PlayStation version is better, but technically on Jaguar, it's still brilliant. So, yeah, there's quite a few. Attack of the Mutant Penguins is fun.
well, this one's for Chris.
What did you pick? I actually was looking down.
Missed.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
If it loads.
It's so boring. Alien vs. Predator. Yeah, Alien vs. Predator was like the killer app, and I've had this conversation with Lindman quite often. None of us really care for Alien vs. Predator. It does cool stuff, but it's just so sluggish. And we always just prefer to play Doom. Someone was telling me yesterday that the big guy responsible for the Jaguar was the son of bug guys at Commodore. Is that true? I don't know.
All right, one, maybe two more then. We did Myst. It looks just like Myst. Is there anyone like one of the?
Oh, go for a Wolfenstein 3D, because on 3DO, that's also a Becky game, and this version is pretty good of Wolfenstein.
Bob's so trigger happy on the reset button. Yeah, I'm getting tired of playing shitty games. I feel like I needed to quote the. We need AVGN
What
quotes.
What did you expect from bringing me on the stream?
I expected at least one good recommendation of a game that I would really enjoy.
I gave you several.
You gave me like one.
Yes, but no. Also, let's not quote AVGN like ever.
Yes.
Becky said she would like to release the 3DO Wolf Source. Yeah, that would be cool. I guess Bethesda wouldn't be interested in that though, but yes, this has like all new graphics.
Oh, this is another game that runs really fast with its in 240p mode.
Oh yeah, it looks.
I am totally alright with that though.
I don't care what you say. The Amiga is better than the 3DO. Yes, the Amiga is better than the 3DO. People were asking me about the Amiga CD32, which is not great. I understand it runs Amiga, but as a console, as a concept, it's not great.
I kind of like this turbo version of Wolfenstein.
It's pretty fun. How about Wing Commander on 3DO? It's often mentioned among 3DO's best. Yeah, it's just a Wing Commander, so... Wing Commander. Like, you have to be in the mood for Wing Commander. The Wing Commander 3 and 4 are great. With Mark Hamill. Wolf 3D screen tearing is how I got to maintain the Lib Retro 3D core. Oh, cool. I'm very happy to see that people are still trying to improve 3DO. Killing Time. We played Killing Time earlier.
You know, I test Wolfenstein all the time on different consoles. Like, I use it just to test performance and stuff. I don't think I've actually beat the first level of Wolfenstein in a long time. Like, usually I'll get this far and I'll be like, alright, game works, looks good, move on to the next, but...
So I see someone saying Blonde Justice in the chat, and again, so we should not play Blonde Justice. It's a porn game. It's one of the games that like Wicked Entertainment put out. But when I was in Japan a few years ago, I was talking to someone at I think it was at Super Potato, but might have been another game store, and we came to talk about because they had in the display case, they had 3DO games from the US, and among them they had Sex, which is actually the name of that particular title, Blonde Justice, and the one that's like a puzzle game, I forget what. And they the guy who worked at Super Potato at the time knew me and came over and asked if I could explain what the games were. So I had to explain to them what, you know, who these actresses were, what the games were, so that they could put up a sign saying like it's interactive porn movies starring Janine and whoever else was in it.
That's pretty funny.
So
what was Crash
that's
and
my
Burn
story.
again?
That was the Pack-In game. That's a racing game. It's pretty cool. It's not great, but it's cool.
Right. I'll take not great but cool. That would be better than most of the other things.
Hell, a Cyberpunk Adventure. Yeah, that's the one we mentioned earlier. And if I seem to recall, that looked pretty cool. I never played it though. Then there was, of course, the Daedalus encounter, which is stars Tia Carrera.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big game.
What movies did
She was in Wayne's World
and
too.
wasn't she in one other movie too?
True Lies.
Yeah. And that was unfortunately it for her, right?
I mean, she had some TV shows. She had that Indiana Jones type show where she was.
Hey, Mark wants to know if anybody's selling pre-modded 3DOs. Mark, try to get a hold of me because a friend of mine is about to sell one, and it's like somebody that does work on top tier level. So, yeah, this is not his day job, but he is selling one. So definitely contact me and I'll hook you up.
Cool. Always helping out the community, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I do. It's like the only thing I do, and I'm all right with that.
Wayne's World. Yep. Yeah, Treasure Collector series. She had like a TV Relic Hunter. Relic Hunter, that's it. Yeah, Tia Carrera. Of course, she's most well known for being in Daedalus Encounter on the 3DO. So this uses sprites for the cars, which I always found kind of interesting.
I feel like Virtua Racing on the Genesis has a better frame rate than this.
Does it?
I'm
no.
being a little bit silly, but this is not a good frame rate.
Yeah. No, it's not great, but I mean, it's a Pack-In title. I think it should have been Street Fighter. I mean, Street Fighter came out much later, so they couldn't wait, but...
if the Pack-In title was
okay.
Street Fighter, that would have completely changed the game for them.
So, you know, the actual Pack-In title that they had planned, and the Pack-In title that was, for the longest time, being marketed, was Jurassic Park Interactive. So it could have gone way worse.
How long does it take to play the Daedalus Encounter? Like, is it one of these games like Night Trap where you'd have to play it 100 times to get the story, or could we play it 2 minutes of that and be able to see something?
I mean, in 2 minutes you'll see the opening cutscene.
Right.
Yeah, it's like 5 discs.
Oh no, thank you. What kind of game is it anyway?
It's like an FMV adventure game with some action sequences. It's okay for what it is. It probably was at the time the most like expansive FMV adventure So, because they really did try. I know there was a PC version of it as well.
Well, since I apparently love being tortured by terrible games, let's give that a try. And if no one has another suggestion that we both feel are worth looking at, then we'll call it after that one.
Slam and Jam, that's another good sports game.
I definitely am seeing the trend of the pre-rendered graphics that must have looked amazing back then, but they're so boring now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up how that holds up today. I mean, it all comes down to art style. If it integrates proper with the art style and looks appealing, then it's still appealing, right? Donkey Kong Country.
I actually didn't like the look of Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island?
So yeah.
You mean Yoshi's Story?
What's the one for Super Nintendo with the FX chip?
Yeah, that's Yoshi's Island. You didn't like the look of that?
Nope, I think I'm like the only person on the planet that doesn't like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of man are you?
Apparently, not one that likes children's Yoshi games.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright, here we go. Dedalius Encounter.
Disc 1 out of, like, what, 7?
We're going to have to find which one is disc 1 because this doesn't scroll the text. That's disc 3. Okay, the first one's disc 3.
At least it tells us early on what disc it is.
Yeah, that is actually helpful.
Didn't load up a title screen, shit like that, and then tell you, like... You sure it's not just the first disc?
Let me try it. How about that?
Why wouldn't it be?
I missed it. I thought it said Q, not ISO. Because that's the only other thing about this optical drive emulator that some eagle-eyed viewers have probably already caught on, that you can't click on the Q file, you have to click on the ISO file.
ISO, okay. Wasn't a fan of Paper Mario. I like Paper Mario. It's not my favorite, but I really like the GameCube Paper Mario. You can change the file name. So what's the story there then? Like, are they ever gonna update that UI, or is it too?
I don't know.
Obscure.
This is unless I'm thinking of it wrong. This is the guy that like put a time bomb in one of his ODEs, and I don't know.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like
right.
if you don't update the firmware, it stops working past a certain point. He's frustrating.
Ow.
I bought this and it arrived within 2 weeks, and I didn't buy it as RetroRGB. I just sent it to a different address. And everybody else that I talked to said it took months and months to arrive.
Oh. There she is. Somehow, every time I see this game, I think of a sci-fi show called Lex. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but that was like a Canadian sci-fi show with a blue-haired girl, a dead man, a janitor,
Nope.
a robot head. And I was really a big fan of Lex back then, so for some reason I connect these two all the time. I think it's just kind of visually similar, but I can guarantee you no one in the chat either knows about Lex, because I've never met another person who ever watched that show. Oh wait, maybe one person knows what Lex is. Pause.
Cannot pause. You skip the scene, I guess.
Lex was quite slow at times. I don't know. I kind of liked it. It kind of had like this Monster of the Week feel, but it wasn't monsters. It was more just like fucked up, weird, psychosexual stuff. Stuff that kids should be watching. I always liked Farscape over Lex. I didn't like Farscape. So I was a huge, and I still am, a huge TNG fan. I still rewatch TNG almost every single year.
Oh, yeah?
From every season. And I love the motion pictures of Star Trek up until like 4. After that, they don't exist. And then after that, Lex, I watched a lot. And since then, I haven't watched too much sci-fi. I still love it. I still love sci-fi dearly, but I never have time to read or watch anything due to work. So, if people always recommend me sci-fi shows to watch, like there's tons of these on Netflix. The only one I ended up watching was Altered Carbon, which is all right. Left shoulder button.
And we need to know if you can respond. If you can, use the virtual interface in
Oh.
front of you to transmit a yes.
Left shoulder button. Okay.
Someone says they rewatch TNG season 3 quite often. Season 3, all right. I mean, that's pretty good, but I think season 4 is kind of like when they really hit their stride. I mean, season 1 and 2 are pretty rough. 1 especially is near unwatchable.
I've been watching Airwolf, and we talked about that.
Okay.
And
Yeah, Jan Michael Vincent.
yes, and well, we called him Jan here in the U.S., but you're correct. And
Yeah.
it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I guess Burton Armus was the main producer who also did Knight Rider and a bunch of other stuff for the first season.
That's right.
And when he left, like, the only reason I know that is because I started watching the second season, and it was such a drop in quality. It wasn't great to begin with. That I looked it up and realized that must have been it. But they even changed where they put Airwolf. So it's like, I don't
Yeah.
know if they did that to say like, oh well, no, what was it, the firm? Maybe the firm knew where it was after the season finale, so they had to move it. But they never talked about moving it. So instead of landing between two mountains, now it comes out of a volcano.
Yep. So, man, yeah, Airwolf. I mean, perhaps one of the greatest theme songs of all time, though.
Hell yeah.
There are 2 Airwolf games on the NES. Or rather, there's one NES game, and then there's a Famicom game, and they're different from one another.
This is interesting, but I'm really wondering, even if I really get into the game, like, would the controls be an impediment to it?
Probably. Season 4 was trash.
Of Airwolf, yeah.
Oh. I thought they meant like TNG. Which, no. The Years of Babylon 5 and Sequest DSV. And that Time Tracks. And there was also the Time Cop TV series. Of course, a wonderful movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, start up all subsystems now.
What else was on TV at that time? Like sci-fi-ish. I remember there was a show called FX, which I watched a bit.
How do I start
The
out?
Video Toaster Years. Oh, interface help.
Probe systems. Navigation control, visual interface, back to menu. Alright.
Stargate. I never liked Stargate, the movie or the TV shows.
I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie, but I liked it. I like the concept.
I mean, it's alright. I mean, I love Kurt Russell, just as a man. Babylon 5, yeah, people really like that. I think Bob is going to select the wrong option and eject the warp core. Alright. Not a lot of faith in you here, Bob.
I don't have any faith in me either.
I do.
Not for this game.
No.
Alright, I can't do this. I have no idea how to play it, and I want to end on a good note, so I'm playing Road Rash again. I think we're gonna...
No, Slam and Jam. Do Slam
You
and Jam.
sure?
Yeah.
Alright.
Let's do it.
I want to end on a happy note.
Well, then you should play Casper.
I don't even want to know what that is.
the friendly ghost.
Slam and jam. All right.
Stika has faith in you.
Go for it.
No, I said that Stika has faith in you, he says.
Yeah. I think I would like to see that game in action, but I would also like to really take the time to read the instructions, to be patient, to go through. It's not really something that would go like I would have to play it a couple of times before I would be willing to stream it, and that would be the only thing on the stream. Like it would be like I would advertise it as that to make sure people know what they're getting into, so they're not totally disappointed.
That's the thing, like Slayer, like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and Dragon Lore and all these games are cool, but they take forever to get going. So like on stream here, it's gonna be like half an hour for us to get going in the game. For a game we're not gonna even sit through or do anything. Like it's just not gonna. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird when it comes to streaming. It's your stream anyway, but.
I just want to... Alright, don't save. There we go. Alright. Okay.
Def Keep, just select a pre-made character, yeah. Maybe we'll do another 3DO stream.
Maybe we should. Maybe we'll make John do it.
Maybe. We are streaming a few things on DF this week. So, if you're not a follower of DF or Digital Foundry, go and check out that YouTube page. And me and John will be streaming this week. Forget what. But it's something interesting. Yeah, this isn't a bad game. This is a pretty cool... No, it has some cool scaling effects. And plays pretty okay. Like, controls pretty okay. Some people saying they love... Oh, yeah, Stika loves DF. Thank you. Yeah, I just recently joined DF officially, so now I have to shill for them. At least this 3DO stream is funny. Well, I'm happy you were entertained.
Agreed. Thank you. This isn't a bad game at all.
No.
It's kind of making me want to play NBA Jam, but it's not a bad game.
Yeah, but I mean NBA Jam is it's a different beast altogether though. I love NBA Jam. Oh, thank you for the congratulations in the chat. That's very nice of you all. I rewatched John's video on Power Slave twice, and I never played it. Yeah, same. I never played Power Slave.
I like the song.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going out on Road Rash. We're going out on a game I know is awesome. I'm sorry.
It's alright. So it's interesting. There was quite a few, well, not quite a few, but there were, excuse me, yawning here. There were a few games that did not boot on this thing, like Ultraman. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, or you know what? Alright, just to double check, before I go to Road Rash. Sorry, everybody. I want to make sure I do this so I don't have to hear Audie every time I talk to him. Say that I failed the Ultraman test.
The one game we were here for, man. Yeah, you see how many games are in here? Like, just...
Alright.
The 3DO in Japan, man.
That's the Q file, which we don't want.
Okay. Yep.
That's the ISO file. Cross our fingers. Mark Dell said he was also one of the first Discords he joined. All right, he loves DF, and it was also one of the first Discords. If you're in that Discord, that means I'm in it too. So you just find me there and message me, and I will get you that 3DO, or I'll get you in touch with the guy who gets you the 3DO.
Yep. Yeah, we're both in that. I see your name in there, so both Bob and I are in the Discord for DF. So.
Road Rash it is.
All right.
So, what are your conclusions at the end of this stream, Audie? Are you just like Bob sucks at all these games and this was a waste?
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't blame you.
No, I had a ton of fun actually. I always happy when he asked me to come on stream. But I mean, 3DO, I love it. I especially love the overseas library for it. I think it's a console that captured a lot of attention and imagination from developers. So it's fun to see the experimentation. And but it still is overshadowed by a lot of these bad games, though. Even on this stream, as we tried to kind of go through the library, you can kind of see the traps that everyone fell into. The kind of bad 3D, the FMV, that kind of stuff. So, and
to answer the question in the chat, yes, we did try Need for Speed, and it was great, but I still think the PlayStation version of that was better, and I think the PlayStation version of Road Rash is better, but you know, it's not nostalgia because I didn't own one of these. I just think this game with this controller feels right. It feels like a chunkier version of the Genesis 3-button controller.
Mod Killer 1 says, off topic, but thanks for mentioning the Virtua Racing mini doc from Pandemonium. The guy is basically a Sega Saturn Jeremy Parish. Needs 10 times more subs.
Yeah, my pleasure. That was a really great documentary. I think it was Genovi actually who I'm stuck. I've never been stuck in Road Rash before. Sorry, I think it was actually
I've never seen this
Genovi who suggested that.
All right.
Okay. This is of course how this stream ends. This is of course
there
how
you
the
go.
stream ends. I get caught in front of a cab. Of course. Why would I think I could play a game?
Sega Lord X is a good one. I'm guessing, as we mentioned in that interview I did with you, I'm very late to the YouTube game, so I'm not familiar with these names. So any recommendations you people have, by all means.
I'm not familiar with any of these either, and a lot of people interpret that as me being snotty, like, oh, well, I don't have time for it. It's not. It is the opposite of that. I just don't have any
just so
time
many
to spend watching anything else, and you know, and I'm not a quote unquote YouTuber, so I'm not really in up on the culture or anything. So it's just I kind of do my thing, and YouTube is the best tool to do it at the moment. But so I miss out on a lot of this stuff, and sometimes I don't mind, and sometimes I'm sad because I would have really enjoyed seeing some of these videos. So please don't anybody get offended if I don't know the YouTuber that you're talking about. It's just, it's not, I don't have time. I wish I did. I wish I could just sit and spend like an hour a day going through all these awesome people's videos and pick ones that I feel like are a good fit to promote on RetroRGB, but I just don't have time.
That's why I never started doing my own videos either, as I kind of came back into the industry. It was just like, there's so much out there, and I would be one in so many, so I just never started doing anything.
If I had my PlayStation with an arm shot, I would close the 3DO stream by playing the PlayStation version of. It's everything in my apartment is in a box in a cabinet, because I have to hide all of the stuff I need to do my job, but not have to step over it all day, every day.
Right.
So,
yeah. Did you move recently, or am I confusing you with someone?
Looking to move.
Looking to move. Okay. How's that going?
The most awful, frustrating experience in a long time. There's
That's how
no
it is.
houses on the market, and there's not going to be some going on for a few months. So everything we're looking at is ridiculously overpriced, and not only is it overpriced and mostly pieces of crap, because people with terrible houses now know that, hey, this is our one chance to sell them as is, but there's also bidding wars on these terrible piece of crap houses. So
Yeah. People are saying, I really like the DF Retro segments John does, and the reviews of current games. Yeah, me and John work together on DF Retro nowadays, so you can look forward to a lot more DF Retro coming in the future. People are saying GameSack. I actually helped out with a few GameSack episodes coming up in the future, so I am familiar with Joe and GameSack.
this is actually the perfect way to end the stream. I came back and got #1 after getting stuck behind a cab. Let me cut the music. I don't want to get caught with a copyright strike.
Oh, yeah.
But
Don't do that.
yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much for everybody that watched this. This was interesting. This was definitely an experience. I'm very glad that I got to sit and feel what it's like to play the 3DO. And I do truly think that if I had gotten one as a kid, I would have picked all of the games like Road Rash and the football ones and all of that were available on other consoles but had better versions on this. I think I would have loved it. But looking back now, I don't know if we found the Thunder in Paradise of the.
Well, it was
3DO.
Demolition Man, right?
It was close, but I would need a mouse or a gun, and I don't know. I'd have to kind of figure that out. Same thing with I don't know. I liked it a lot, and I feel like we might need another stream at some point in the future, and we might need to pick these games that didn't work. I might want to double check and get working versions and go through.
Yeah, and maybe next time we'll invite Mr. Lindman on, who can point us into actual good games, because that's my weakness. I don't play good games.
Well, I actually played every game off of his list.
Oh, well, see, fuck John Lindman.
I might have him on for the Jaguar stream if he'll do it, just for fun.
Oh, no, I'm contractually obligated to show up on that stream too. So if you do Jaguar, I have to be there.
All right. We'll make it a thing. Namet, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thanks to everybody.
Oh, it's $1,000 from Namet.
It's 1,000 HUF.
Whatever that is.
I forgot what HUF was. I'm so sorry. But
yeah.
All right. This was awesome. Thank you all so much, and we will see you soon.